been, should have been, might have been the face mask.
And we are live. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone had a good holiday.
Evening, good afternoon. Happy holidays.
Yeah, they're continuing.
Happy
right?
championship week.
Right. This is the big one.
What's going on, Dirtbag? What's going on, Eddie? What's going on, Big Plan? Damon Luce? AM? What's going on, all y'all?
Yeah, I'm gonna assume anybody who's in here, you made the finals, so congratulations if you did.
You either made the finals or you're just a fan, so thank you. Regardless.
True. That's thank you regardless. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, but if you made the finals, that's that's.
But hey, there's people that
was the
make
main
the finals.
objective, right?
There's people that didn't make the finals that still got something to play for. You got your toilet bowls.
Yeah, your
second,
draft
third,
pick order.
I mean, people are playing for third place.
Right.
Depending on your leagues.
I as a commissioner, I love like looking like how many ways can I offer payout opportunities. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Like keep people interested for multiple reasons, because obviously only 2 teams out of 10, 12, 14, hopefully not 8, but you get the idea. Only 2 people can play in the championship game, but that doesn't mean that only 2 people had good seasons, right? So
yeah, and that doesn't mean that only 2 people can benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. There are ways to reward people for their work as a manager. Yeah. 3rd place, most points scored, maybe had the best record in the regular season, stuff like that. But regardless, congrats wherever you're at. Hopefully it's in the finals. And
I see Eddie M's in the finals. Yeah. Hey, we might have got you to 2-7 in the first place, but hey, improvement, right?
It's not how you start.
And now you're here. The turnaround was glorious. You can tell your kids about this one day. I'm serious.
Yep. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. Yeah. That's so we'll take it.
Yeah. Hey, Dirtbag, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And definitely congratulations, Big Pun, to anybody who made it.
Yeah,
made it in.
Congratulations, everybody.
All right, Pittman, Ayuk, Higgins, Devontae Smith need 2 for the final. Well, I think last week proved that you can't not play Higgins.
I mean, he's not going to blow up like that again.
You can't not play Higgins, though.
But dude's a monster. And they're playing at home again, and it's Kansas City, so it could be a shootout. Kansas City's defense is playing really well.
I'd go Higgins, Devontae Smith. Pittman doesn't have his quarterback. And and Ayuk might not either.
So it's probably going to be Sam Ehlinger for the Colts. And it might, it sounds like it's going to be Trey Lance for the 49ers. And we don't know how that's going to play out, right?
No.
At least Higgins and Smith have their quarterbacks, right? So that would be the early favorite for my decisions. If Carson Wentz is miraculously cleared, then which is unlikely because he's not vaccinated, so Pittman takes a hit playing with the backup. But if he's cleared, Pittman re-enters the conversation. But for now, I would say Higgins and Smith.
Yep.
Devontae's been a little up and down this year. We were not. Neither of us were high on him coming into the semifinals, but he had a really strong game against the Giants. I think the past 3 weeks prior, he had not had huge games, but against Washington, who just got shredded for 56. Not that the Eagles don't have an offense at the caliber of the Cowboys, but Devontae Smith is a player. So
yeah, and they don't have very many pass catching playmakers on that team. Not that is their game to begin with, but to that point, they don't have Miles Sanders this week or for the rest of the season either. So there's just
might return week 18,
more touches to go around in that offense.
Out week 17.
So I think that does benefit Devontae Smith to some point, to some end. But yeah, Higgins and Smith, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And yo, Damon, good job.
Damon, congrats, dude. Yeah, got to figure it out. As far as Cam Akers,
make it a break.
I'll just jump. Oh, he looked like it maybe deleted it. I saw like Cam Akers or Sony. Sony should probably see another 90% snap share this week, but there's no Darrell Henderson, so Akers might factor in. How much? We'll see.
They just brought back Jake Funk, right? They just
did he return from IR? Or wasn't he hurt?
But they're saying that he's 90% healthy too. So he's not a shoe-in to just pick up some of that back-end work, even if they're steamrolling somebody. Yeah. I regardless, I think Sony's probably going to get around 80% of the snap shares back there.
Should be, yeah. I mean, it was 90% last week. I would think it's right around there again.
There you go.
But back to Big Pun's other question, picking up a Dari, you can, and yeah, if you're just playing defense, I mean, that's like if you have no intentions of playing him, but your opponent could, then absolutely pick him up. Like,
yeah.
This is the time of year where, this is where you can play that game. During the regular season, I never advise worrying about that. Like, should I pick this guy up so my opponent can't get him? That's not a play in the regular season. But right now, I mean, yeah, you've got one game to win.
It can be at play late in the season. I mean,
sure, it depends.
You did it to me late in the season in the league, so you know, yeah.
What,
I mean,
last
should
week?
No, the last time you played me, like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, what did I do?
I forget who you picked up, but you blocked.
I don't
me
think
from
I
picking
did
up
that.
somebody. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and you won that matchup, so good job.
Well, thanks. Means nothing now.
But yeah, go pick it to anybody out there. If this question applies to anybody, if you got to play defense in the championship league or in the championship week, or you got to play defense and something is on the line, whether that's the toilet bowl or third place or whatever, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Make it harder on your opponent. That's the name of the game.
And yeah, hey, Elijah Mitchell might be saving some people coming back.
Sounds like he should be back. Going to be interesting to see that 49ers offense with Trey Lance, assuming Trey Lance gets the start. Are they playing Houston?
I don't know.
They are at home. So Elijah Mitchell could have an RB an RB 1 week relatively easily just based on the matchup.
There you go.
But yeah, should be back this week. AM, what's going on?
What's going on, man? St. Brown or T. Higgins? I would play T. Higgins.
Man, St. Brown is looking. He looks
very good.
He looks QB proof.
I would rather have the guy. I would rather have the guy with the better QB, higher ceiling.
Yeah.
And I know T. Higgins isn't going to do what he did last week every week, but he, I think, isn't it now like 5 straight weeks with over 100 yards?
Is it?
I believe so. He's just been on fire. He's obviously somebody that Joe Burrow looks towards early and often. I would just keep playing him.
Week 15,
I know St. Brown has looked
he had a
good,
dud week.
Okay.
It's 4 of his past 5. He's been over 100 and 4 touchdowns in that 4-game stretch as well.
Yeah, I would keep rolling with Higgins. Higher ceiling, higher.
And it's a matchup against Kansas City. Could be a shootout.
There you go.
Kansas City's defense is playing pretty well, but the Bengals are at home.
But
not too worried.
Is their second or third cornerback keeping up with T. Higgins?
No. No.
Yeah.
Big Pun. Look, a lot of people were hype on Trey Sermon. I can only speak to what I saw from following folks in the Dynasty circles on Twitter. There were several high-profile Dynasty people. I can't remember who specifically. I just remember their takes, their tweets. That Trey Sermon was, relative to the NFL and the talent in the NFL. Trey Sermon does a lot of little things well, but doesn't do any one particular thing spectacularly, and therefore he's kind of just a guy. That was like, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, he doesn't have that one outstanding trait either, like a Chuba
right.
Hubbard.
There's no breakaway
speed. Right.
Yeah, there's no big play. Like he doesn't break a million tackles. He's not an outstanding pass catcher. He can do it, but he's not like elite in that regard. But people were hyped because of the draft capital. The 49ers spent a 3rd-round pick on him. Maybe we see that materialize a little bit more next year. It's possible Elijah Mitchell was maybe just the more pro-ready player. Elijah Mitchell was he was a 4-year player at college. So maybe a little bit more seasoned, maybe a little bit more polished. I think Elijah Mitchell is as safe a bet as any coming into 2022,
That's
but
for sure.
maybe Trey Sermon sees I was ultimately off him. I did a video on him in the offseason, and I'll admit I was kind of wishy-washy on him, but ultimately I remember saying I was fading him because of the fact that I wasn't so bullish on him at his ADP. I would be curious.
I'm not gonna say that he
if he's 4 or 5
turns it
rounds
around,
cheaper,
man. He's giving me Keyshawn Vaughn vibes. And
maybe
he is. He's just giving me Keyshawn Vaughn vibes, and it's not even like a Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones situation where one just is better, so they start playing him. But I mean, Jamal Williams is still getting work. Trey Sermon is nowhere to be seen, and that gives me. That's not even Ronald Jones, who, I mean, one could argue Trey Sermon could eventually turn into a Ronald Jones. I think he's gonna turn into the guy behind Ronald Jones. I think it's bad that he's seen no usage despite their running back woes.
Yeah. I mean, he might be an interesting flyer like in best ball because his ADP will be 0 next year, or very, very low. What I mean, next year. But yeah, the vibes, the early vibes aren't great. But he's still young. We'll see what happens. You know, a lot of people bought in. But anyway,
I mean, what's he worth in a dynasty league right now? Like a third?
That's the I don't think I would. I mean, maybe a 3rd round pick. But see, that's where a lot of people got Elijah Mitchell. So it might be more like a 4th. So you could, or it would have to be like a 4th and maybe like a low end player. You could probably get him for nothing if you really wanted to take a shot on a buy low.
Yeah, we're gonna get into dynasty.
That's a conversation
in the off season.
The off season,
but
even though I totally just derailed on it, but
hey,
let's continue. Trey, what's going on? He's got a 16-team league. First of all, kudos to you. That's
big boy fantasy.
That's a big boy league. I want to get into a 16-teamer or at least a 14-teamer. But you lost Wentz. Placed a waiver for Trey Lance in case Jimmy doesn't play, which sounds to be the case. If you don't get him, start Heineke, pick up Goff or Teddy. Goff?
I mean, Teddy. Goff? I don't think Teddy's playing. I think it's Drew Lock still, isn't it?
It might still be Drew Lock, and even if it is, I don't want to play a Denver. I don't want to play a Denver quarterback. No. I don't want to play Teddy or Lock. I want to play. I would probably lean Goff. The matchup is good enough. Seattle's a train wreck. I think I would lean Goff if he can. And I think there was an update yesterday that he cleared COVID protocols. So
Austin Bonner, thank you so much for the super. We'll get to your question right after this.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I would say I would probably go Goff if you can't get Lance. But I guess my follow-up question, Trey, would be like, can you create any stacks with these guys? Like, do you have Terry or do you have Amon-Ra St. Brown? Like, that would maybe sway my decision a little bit more. Stack the players. But if not, I would probably lean Goff in a vacuum. Matchup is good. And whatever. He's got an ascending. He's got a wide receiver 2 for the rest of the season in Amon-Ra. Like, he should be able to slap together a QB2 performance.
Yeah. Yep.
I would say Goff.
All right, but Austin Bonner, thank you so much for the super. Much appreciated.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Can y'all do a run through of smash plays at each position of players to look for?
So for this week,
who you thinking at quarterback? We'll swap. Who you thinking at quarterback?
Me?
Yeah.
For this week, I mean, Trey Lance. Like, I would say if you can get Trey Lance, or if Trey Lance is out there, if he's available, I don't know what I'm not sure, Austin, what the format is for your, is it a super flex league? Is this dynasty? Like, is Trey Lance owned? If he's not, if this is straight redraft or a season long league and he's out there, I would see if I can get Trey Lance. He's the running upside is through the roof. It's a phenomenal matchup against Houston. It's a must-win game for San Francisco. So, I would say Lance would be if we're talking about like outside of obvious names, obvious choices, your Josh Allens of the world, your Mahomes, your Kyler Murrays of the world, Trey Lance is I would say is the home run play this week at quarterback.
There you go. And for me, if you're looking for a bottom of the barrel guy that you can get in probably any league, you're in guillotine.
Oh, that's right. So
we're not looking for like sleepers at the position and stuff. We're looking.
The smash plays.
Too many to go into detail, so we need smash plays. All right.
I mean, the biggest, probably. That's right. I'm sorry, I forgot it was a guillotine league. I mean, it's got to be at this point. Who do the Bills play? The Falcons. It's got to be Josh Allen.
At QB.
It's got to be Josh Allen. I don't think I would play
He's
any.
He's running more with them not having Beasley and Davis.
And they might get cleared for this week. Depends on a couple of things because neither player is unvaccinated. So like, does the NFL adopt the ever-changing CDC protocols and make it so that asymptomatic players can get cleared sooner? That hasn't happened yet. Apparently it's in the works, but it's not official yet. And even if it does, obviously you still have to be asymptomatic, or I think you have to submit a negative test. So there's still hurdles for guys like Davis and Beasley to clear. But regardless, I mean, Allen just
I'm not saying that
put up a huge week against the
that's
Patriots.
I'm not saying that to his detriment. I'm saying that's kind of to his benefit because he's going to be rushing more himself. He's going to be
sure.
I mean, you saw it last week. He put up a QB 1 week. I don't know if it was the QB1 overall last week. All I know
was it him or was it Burrow?
It was Burrow. But he.
Regardless, at home against the Falcons, Allen. At the running back position, I mean, Elijah Mitchell's against Houston. If you have him, he's in the conversation for. I think Justin Jackson had a top 5 finish at the running back position this past week. Elijah Mitchell's up there.
I just gotta put it out there, man. We were wrong on Ronald Jones, and I don't think
was wrong about Ronald Jones.
We were wrong about Ronald Jones last week.
He did
and
good.
I think
he didn't
we got a
explode.
course correct because they're playing the Jets, so he has a cupcake matchup. I don't know if Mike Evans plays because he's on the COVID list. Regardless of how he comes off that, he's still dealing with the injury, so we don't know if he's going to be coming back from the injury this week, not when they need him in the playoffs, and they can they could probably afford to leave him there and still win. I think they'll win the way they won last week, and you could see a lot of Ronald Jones, and it's the best matchup for opposing running backs. Still, it has been all year. He is a smash spot this week.
Yeah, that's a smash spot.
He is a smash spot this week. And I never thought I'd be course correcting this hard on Ronald Jones, but here we are.
Yeah. No, it's a good call.
Devin Singletary is a sneaky play too, but that's
against the
way
Falcons.
further down the list.
Elijah Mitchell, Ronald Jones. Nick Chubb is up there. The Pittsburgh Steelers are giving up tons of fantasy points to running backs. They did again this past weekend. So Nick Chubb's is a regular top 5 option with a phenomenal matchup this week. And as far as the other, Jonathan Taylor, playing Vegas, and Taylor, you figure, bounces back from a floor game for him last week. I think they're at home, and down to their backup quarterback. Taylor might have a typical 2021 Jonathan Taylor game. And
who is it? Somebody's playing Jacksonville that I like. Damian Harris.
The Patriots.
If Ramondre Stevenson is not playing, Damian Harris against Jacksonville, I don't think he's going to get 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Or 3 touchdowns, but I mean, close.
Yeah.
He could be in line for 101 touchdown. For some reason, my Zoom is saying I got 10 minutes left. I don't know why it thinks I'm in the free version right now.
Oh, I see that. What's that all about?
So it just we might have to just figure out the technical difficulties of this.
All right. Well, hopefully we don't go anywhere.
You continue talking. I gotta see if I can get rid of this.
Hopefully we don't go anywhere, but if we do, we will obviously boot back up. As far as like some smash spots at wide receiver, I mean, there goes a camera. With some of the smash spots at wide receiver, Davante Adams is playing at home. Anytime he plays at home, he pretty much scores a touchdown. And they're playing Minnesota. That's like as phenomenal of a matchup as you could possibly get. Some other wide receivers that are in some really strong spots for week 17. I mean, Stephon Diggs, they're playing the Falcons. Again, the Bills at home against Atlanta, like fire them up. Trying to think who else has some like super favorable matchups this week at wide receiver. Let's take a look. Who does Tennessee play? Tennessee gives up oodles of points to opposing wide receivers. Tennessee the Dolphins. Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle's in a great spot. I'll throw Devontae Parker in there. I don't think he had a huge game last night against the Saints. I can't. He wasn't targeted. That's right. Oops. Well, maybe not Devontae Parker, but definitely Jalen Waddle this week, Austin. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams. Washington gives up lots of points, so Devontae Smith. The 49ers have been giving up lots of points to opposing wide receivers recently. So if Brandon Cooks can come back, Brandon Cooks is in a smash spot. Those would be some of the tight ends that tight ends. Those are some of the wide receivers that are in an excellent spot. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, and Brandon Cooks if he can get cleared. As far as the tight end, like the smash spots, the Raiders give up tons of points. So the Colts tight ends are in theory in a great spot here, but they're down their quarterback, and that's kind of a carousel. So I don't know that I would necessarily go there. The Chargers give up lots of points to tight ends, so Noah Fant could be in a good spot. I don't know how much you trust a Broncos pass catcher, but Noah Fant is in a good spot. The Seahawks give up lots of production to tight. This is all from Fantasy Pros, by the way. The Seahawks give up top 5 production to the tight end. They are playing. We were just talking about Seattle. Who they play this week? Detroit. Never mind. Hawkinson's out for the year. Can't trust whoever they throw out there. The Eagles give up lots of points to tight ends. I don't know that Ricky Seals-Jones is an option or John Bates. It's kind of a crapshoot this week. The Bengals give up lots of points to tight ends, so Travis Kelce's an obvious play, but you're firing him up if you have him no matter what, as long as he gets cleared. Who else? Baltimore. Baltimore gives up lots of points to tight ends as well, so maybe Tyler Higbee comes back and does something. So those are some of the smash options. As far as like great matchup, looks like an obvious play based on it. John, how are we doing?
Give me another 2 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna move on. Austin, if you let, we've got some questions piling up. Austin, hopefully that helps. If you've got any specifics or names that you want to talk through, let us know, and we can go through that. But appreciate the super. Hopefully that helps. Want to make sure we get to some of these other questions here, so I am going to continue with that. Richie, what's going on? Big pun agreed. Cam Akers might see 10 snaps, 10, 15 snaps, and that might include 5 touches, something like that. That's like a best case scenario as far as I'm concerned. Anything more, and I would be happy for him, but I would also be kind of surprised. Elias, happy holidays again for anybody who's just now joining or just recently joined. John's making sure this Zoom that we have doesn't randomly time out for us. So he'll be rejoining the conversation shortly, hopefully. And if we have any issues where the room ducks out on us, we'll be back up and running as soon as we possibly can. Anyway, Damon, you have Kamara, Montgomery. Okay, pretty good options here. Kamara, Montgomery, Connor, Gibson, Wilson. Clyde probably isn't going to play. Clyde's probably not going to play, so I would rule him out. Ronald Jones is in a smash spot this week, so he's absolutely worth an option. Your good choices, honestly. It looks like it would be Kamara. You probably have to fire up. Ronald Jones and probably Gibson. I think Montgomery has to take a bit of a back seat. The Bears are not playing well right now. He's not turning his touches into the production that I thought he would at this time of year. I was bullish on Montgomery as a late season ad. So far that hasn't worked out. And the Bears play the Giants, so the matchup is great. Might be something to think about as we get into the week. I would say Ronald Jones looks like your upside play going against the Jets. Gibson looks viable. Kamara should be fine if they can get Taysom Hill back, the Saints. Connor, let's check his injury status coming into the week. He was maybe not a surprise, but he was an inactive last week. Wilson might take a back seat if Mitchell is playing, and Clyde looks like he's going to miss. So Kamara, Gibson, Rojo, that's probably like the combination of guys that I would be looking to play. And Dirtbag, you're in the semifinals. Okay. Get your commission to update that. We don't want to play the last week of the season. That's there's too much up in the air as far as players resting, like things that what circumstances that are, that cause players to not play as much. Teams are more likely to shut a player down in meaningless games. I don't know. I don't like playing until the final week of the season, but still here to help regardless. Tim, what's going on?
What's going on, Tim?
Going on a limb and saying Cordero Patterson might be a sit for the remainder of the season. He's had 2 dud games 2 weeks in a row now. Well, he scored.
I don't think you can sit him.
They're not giving him the ball. That's last week they didn't give him the ball, didn't it? I think he only had 10 touches. I understand the concern though. He's playing the Bills.
He only ever played 40 to 50% of the snaps. He was never a full complement player.
But he was getting more touches than what he got last week. He had 8 touches.
True.
The weeks before, he's still, despite the low snap share, 13 touches, 18 touches, 16 touches, 19 touches. He only got he got 8. That's not good at all. And they're playing the Bills this week. I understand the sentiment. I absolutely do.
I don't know if you can sit him though, man.
I don't know that you can sit him, but he's absolutely in that conversation if you've got other guys that are viable in good spots. So yeah, there is cause for concern. What is up with getting 8 touches against the Detroit Lions? What's that all about?
Fair.
So there is a concern.
That is going out on a limb. I wouldn't be sitting him. I guess it depends on your personnel. It depends who you have as far as options. But the fact that you can play around with his eligibility depending on which league which host is services your league is on, ESPN or Yahoo or whatever.
I think Tim plays ESPN, so he is limited.
If you're limited to wide receiver, then yes, he is not a guarantee. Yeah.
No.
Fair enough. With that in mind, I forgot about that.
And
Sorry.
playing the Bills, rough. Richie, we love to see it. Happy to hear that you're in the finals. Congrats on getting there.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Damon, you got Dak and Higgins. Yeah,
all right.
Fire them back up. Fire them back up this week. Cowboys are playing. Who are the Cowboys playing? Arizona. Yeah, you got to fire them up. Not a great matchup by the numbers, but that could be a shootout.
And Dirtbag, 8-game win streak. That's what we like to hear.
Hell yeah, man.
Let's make it 9.
It's not how you start. It's not how you start.
Let's make it 9.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's make it 9. Dirtbag's playing until week 18 though. He's in the 70s.
Okay, let's make it 10.
In the finals. Yeah, well, let's start with 9. Tim, do you play Elliott or Badgley at kicker? Jake Elliott gave me a scare because I think there were a couple occasions where I suggested him last week, this past week, and he didn't do anything for like the first half, and then he finally kicked a couple field goals in the second half and salvaged his day. What did he finish with? Jake Elliott. 10. Great. Perfect. Yeah, he had 2 field goals and 4 extra points. Yeah. And going against Washington, like that's pretty favorable. You could do that. Badgley, my only concern with Badgley is he's not going to have his quarterback, and I don't know about Sam Ehlinger. The Raiders do give up kicker points. They do. Elliott feels a little safer because they're going to have Jalen Hurts. Like the Eagles will have their quarterback. Well, we can say that today now, assuming. I would probably lean Elliott. He's been rock solid for the past 6 weeks outside of like one game. I would play Elliott because the Eagles should have their kicker or their quarterback. The Colts are almost certainly not going to have their quarterback.
There you go. Kicker whisperer himself.
Elias, don't need anything from waivers this week, but you can block your opponent,
Elias?
as you should. Flex is either Devontae Smith or Terry, and there is Agumbawale and Jordan Howard on the waiver. Well, I can't imagine he plays Daria Agumbawale or Jordan Howard over one of those receivers.
Right.
Probably especially Devontae. But if you can block with somebody, like I would probably lean Agumbawale.
I mean, it's the last week for waivers, right? Unless you're in the semifinals week, so you might as well use your waiver.
Might as well use your waiver claim if you have it. I mean, either one of those guys is a viable option to play, to play defense with. Agumbawale is maybe the safer bet to see more work.
I would think so.
The Eagles have more of a,
Committee.
they have more options to go to. You have to figure Kenny Gainwell gets a little bit more involved with Miles Sanders not playing. Boston Scott saw his usage go back up this past week. Probably Agumbawale is the better block. There's a little bit more uncertainty around a guy like Jordan Howard. Howard's viable as a pickup, but maybe not over Agumbawale.
Yeah, I would go with that. But if I had Devonta Smith and Terry McLaurin, I wouldn't be playing. I definitely wouldn't be picking up Jordan Howard to be playing over him. Whereas if it was Agumbawale, it'd be like, depending on what happens with the disease, we don't know.
Yeah,
with everybody this year,
you never know who's gonna be randomly ruled out.
Right. Big pun. Hell of a season, man. It's been a crazy one. This season was a crazy one, but hey, glad we could help.
Yeah, that's the plan. Always get better. Always look for ways to improve. I lost a couple matchups myself in the semifinals this past week, and like my first thoughts weren't like, damn it, I lost. It was like, what can I do better next year so that I'm not losing? Taking Jonathan Taylor over Nick Chubb probably would have been a good first start. But anyway, that's old news. That's this past year. It's like, how do you adjust and change your strategy and, keep yourself relevant for the next season? That's the plan. That's the goal. And we will be here this offseason to work on that.
Yeah, so. But I mean, Nick Chubb wasn't keeping you out of the. I think this year
he kept me from the 1 seed.
Fair.
But yes, Nick Chubb was the better play for this specific week. So, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, let's just do this all over again next year.
We will be doing this all over again next year. More dubs. Get more dubs.
Yep. That's the plan.
Jameis.
Yeah, right. Eat more W's. AM, we answered that. We're gonna go. We still say Higgins. Elias. Okay. Other potential blockers. He has the Colts defense. You could steal the Bears. Sure. They're playing the Giants. The Giants' offense is an offense to attack. The Bears, I would say, are lower than those running backs, though. Like you don't,
Yeah, I'd rather play defense with another position versus playing defense with a defense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, standard league. Same thing. Same thing.
Yep.
But yeah, what's popping, Tim? Full PPR. Who do I start? DK. Lol.
Yeah, go figure, right?
Yo.
Go figure.
Gage, CPAT, Justin Jackson, Rex Burkhead, Jeff Wilson. Is Michelle out?
If Mitchell is out. Start Darrell Williams, smart. Rojo, smart. Yeah, I would play DK over Isaiah McKenzie regardless of Beasley's status.
Would you? Did you see what DK did last game outside of scoring that TD?
He did a whole lot of nothing.
Right.
But the TD was like...
He got one TD. They finally hooked up on the TD.
Yeah.
Now,
Weather
Lockett
wasn't
didn't
great.
do much either.
Lockett did
Weather
nothing.
wasn't great. To your point. But, if Beasley and Gabe Davis are both out again, it's clear that the Bills don't want to be using Emmanuel Sanders. Big miss by me last week.
I told you
Big
that.
miss. But we weren't.
He's...
It wasn't. Somebody else in that offense came out of nowhere. Isaiah McKenzie. And
I
if
just think
and Gabe
Emmanuel
Davis
Sanders
are out,
is cooked.
then I think Isaiah McKenzie is another solid play this week.
Against the Falcons.
Over
yeah.
DK. Yeah. Isaiah McKenzie in the championship week. I'm planting my flag is a better play than DK.
All right.
DK had like 5 targets. He caught 2 of them. The one that wasn't a 40-something yard touchdown or 30-something yard touchdown was a 10-yard out. Like,
are you playing him over Cordero Patterson though in the flex?
That's tough.
I don't think I can do that.
I don't think I can do that, but it's.
I'll tell you what. I could play Jeff
me.
Wilson. If Elijah Mitchell is out, I could play Jeff Wilson over all these other guys because Houston is a smash spot. I could play Jeff Wilson, but that's pending Elijah Mitchell's status. I would say it probably. I would fire up Patterson one more time.
Yeah.
In a vacuum.
Everything I was saying about Emmanuel Sanders 2 days ago is what
turned out
what
to
I
be
would
true
say
for Isaiah McKenzie.
now.
Yeah. We might have to. Let's come back to this over the weekend. Let's see how practice plays out this week. Let's see who gets ruled out and who's in, who's out.
Pencil in CPAT, but yeah, we could
pencil in Patterson. But
like Isaiah McKenzie, if Isaiah McKenzie is on your wire and you need somebody in your flex or a wide receiver, or even if you just have a wide receiver, like I don't know. If you were first into playing somebody you're not super confident in, Isaiah McKenzie is a real option this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But let's see how the week of practice plays out. Dirtbag needs a sleeper running back. Burkhead got it done last week. Yes, he did. Should you stick with him? I don't know that lightning strikes twice in this Houston backfield. Burkhead has been a viable option for the past few weeks, and last week I think he had his best game of the season. The 49ers, I don't think they give up a ton of production to running backs. They don't. I would not expect Burkhead. I expect Burkhead to do decently, but I would not expect him to replicate his success from week 16. So my question, Dirtbagger, who are your other options to potentially pick up?
Yeah, he's a desperation play. I would not expect that last week to happen again. But something in the middle of what he's been giving you thus far and last week.
The Chargers are a run funnel, but yeah.
That also had to do with the fact that they didn't have Brandon Cooks. I do believe that. So, he could have a 15-touch, 40-yard day.
I would want to know. I would want to know who your other options are. We got a super from Chuck, man.
Chuck, man, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate that.
Need flex to bring home the chip. Hey, congrats for being in the chip.
Yup.
Prioritize in order: Agumba Wale, Boston Scott, Isaiah McKenzie, Elijah Moore.
Moore was placed on IR a few weeks ago, he's on the COVID list. But he could return this week, or maybe he was on IR. Is he on IR and also have COVID? But maybe he gets activated this week.
I forget.
I think if Moore is
Chuck, man, what's your format? PPR standard? Have PPR?
It would be hard for me to go away from Moore even after like a 3-game absence. Like he put up some monster weeks before going down.
Yeah.
What did he do? But like,
I'd be
6
going
catches
Elijah
for
Moore and then Isaiah
77,
McKenzie
4
and then
46, 8. Like he had before going on the list, he had touchdowns in 4 of his last 5 games. The one before that, he had 6 for 67. He had at least 50 yards receiving in 5 of his past 6 games with 5 total touchdowns. I think if Moore is active, who are the Jets playing? We just talked. The Bucks. That's not that tough of a matchup. Their secondary is not that good. Their front 7 is going to cause problems for the Jets' offensive line, but
they're going to need to air it out. No,
they're going to need to throw.
No,
they're going to have to
Crowder,
throw.
right? Is Jamison Crowder out again?
That's a good question.
Standard big play bonus. So
I gotta think it's Elijah Moore. There's no update on Jamison Crowder, which honestly I wouldn't hate if Crowder was active. That would mean you can't key on Elijah Moore if you're the Bucks.
Fair.
I would if Elijah Moore is active, I would play Elijah Moore.
Ogunbowale, and then probably Boston Scott in standard.
I would say,
and then Isaiah McKenzie, and that's only because we're in standard. Or else I might put Isaiah McKenzie second. I would put Isaiah McKenzie second.
With no Miles Sanders, I might put Boston Scott second, but I would prioritize Elijah Moore for now. Let's keep an eye, Chuck, man, on obviously
we were talking a little bit about Jordan Howard before the stream. You checked up on his status. He had a stinger.
He should play. They're hopeful he plays, but he might be on the injury report going into the game. I would say Boston Scott in a much better matchup for him, on a much better running team in the Eagles. I would probably prefer Scott. But honestly, even in standard, I don't prefer Scott over Elijah Moore. Let's keep an eye on does he get activated? Is he able to practice this week? If that's the case, Moore would be my call. And then I would say Boston Scott afterwards.
Okay.
No Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Stainer. Nothing scary about the matchup against Washington. And the Eagles are running the ball once again. What did they do? What did they do again on the ground? They did more work. all they do is churn out a bunch of rushing yards. I have to look up the total numbers, but it was another good game for them. Yeah, I think they went over 100 yards collectively as a team again. 40.
I do just want to say, Isaiah McKenzie, 12 receptions, 125 yards, 1 touchdown. This is not me being a Bills fan telling you this because I'm a Bills fan. This guy is going to take Cole Beasley's job. This guy's going to take Cole Beasley's job. He just showed that he could do it. If he does it, if he continues to do it in Cole Beasley's absence, Cole Beasley costs $8 million against the cap next season. He's
gone.
33 years old.
He gone.
He's caused some issues in the locker room and publicly for certain things. Yeah.
He gone.
He gone. The Bills can spend that $8 million elsewhere because they have to pay Josh Allen his big contract now.
The big salary will kick in.
Yeah. So if you're in Dynasty, pick up Isaiah McKenzie. I believe he's like 25.
That's not old.
No. Go get him. 25-year-old Cole Beasley tied to Josh Allen.
Sounds pretty good
Don't
to
sleep.
me. But let's see how things go, Chuck. This week, Moore would still be my pick of that group for this week if he's active.
And I would agree with that.
And thank you again for the super. Much appreciated.
Very much.
So Tober made it to the finals 2 years in a row. Hell yeah, that's what we call a streak. And let's go back to back. Sony over Mixon or Jacobs?
Definitely not Mixon.
Not Mixon, but Jacobs. There's absolutely a case to be made. I would play
Sony over Jacobs.
I would play Sony over Jacobs at this point. It's an early game for the Rams. They're coming to Baltimore to play an early game for them. Somebody on Twitter, I have to get better with my sources on Twitter as far as remembering them, but apparently Sean McVay when the Rams have to play an early game, like a 10 a.m. body clock game for them, which means they're traveling across the country to play a 1 p.m. game. They average like 27 points in those games, and the Ravens are a train wreck right now. Sony over Jacobs, yeah. Mixon can't possibly be taken out of your lineup for anybody at this point, but Jacobs can come out for Sony, absolutely. And, well, if you have Mitchell on the bench, yeah, you could use that. You could use him in the flex. If Elijah Mitchell's healthy, it's a smash spot against Houston. At this point, if you have Elijah Mitchell and he plays, we got to get him in there. They're playing Houston.
Over Sony Michel?
No, over, I would say Jamar Chase. Or is that Chase Edmonds? Either way, I would play Elijah Mitchell in the flex against Houston.
If it's Jamar Chase, that would give me pause.
It would give me pause, but I could do it. It's Elijah Mitchell against Houston.
Yeah.
In a game where Trey Lance is maybe siphoning rushing work, but also they're going to want to use their running backs in Trey Lance's first game action in a couple of months. Like,
it's just so hard for me to swerve off of Sony with with the only competition for rush touches. A guy that's coming off of a 5-month recovery for an Achilles tear.
I would play Sony, but I would consider taking Chase out for Mitchell.
And I just like Chase too much to do that. But I get it.
Something to think about. But I would play Tober. Let's circle back on that flex decision before the games are. Do we have Saturday games this week? I feel like we do. There's no Thursday game, right?
No.
There's no Thursday game. Well, maybe there's not a Saturday game.
When I was looking at my matchups, there weren't any. I think they're all Sunday games.
All right, we might be back to all Sunday games. So we have time to figure this out, Sotober. Let's put a pin in the flex decision, but I would play Sony over Jacobs.
Yeah, and I think format matters in this Elijah Mitchell.
Sure.
Jamar Chase thing. If it's Chase Edmonds, then it's Elijah Mitchell. Full stop.
Yeah.
Dirtbag. Yeah. I will never leave St. Brown on my bench again.
Dude.
And yeah, you think Mitchell is gonna have a big game too?
St. Brown as a player. I was a little worried about him this week because he didn't have Jared Goff. That didn't matter at all.
Nope.
I mean, as he's the number one guy in that offense right now.
And the number two guy, really.
Looks like a player.
Until Swift comes back, he's the number 1 and number 2 guy in that offense.
Yeah. Might see another 15 targets this week. Who do the Lions get? Lions get not that it
Packers.
matters. I'm on.
No,
that's the Vikings. The Vikings. Oh, they play on the road in Seattle. Detroit's on the road in Seattle. It's not a terribly scary matchup. Obviously, if we see another snow game, we might have to lower expectations a little bit, but yeah, dude's a player. And I agree. I think Mitchell is going to have a big game against Houston because every single running back has a big game against Houston. I think that's the smash spot this week. Like Ronald Jones is one. You alluded to that earlier. Elijah Mitchell is the other.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I can't disagree with that.
Or Jeff Wilson. If Mitchell can't go, or it's Jeff Wilson.
Yo, so Tober, you have Ronald Jones on your bench?
Oh, maybe play him.
I mean, I can't. Call. I'm sorry, I cannot swerve away from Ronald. You got Ronald Jones against the Jets, and it depends on the status for me of Mike Evans. If Mike Evans doesn't play, then I think Ronald Jones this week again is a better play than Elijah Mitchell.
Okay. It's hard for me to sit a running back against Houston.
What about a running back against the Jets? They're worse.
I know.
They're worse.
I know. And it's a better offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to put a pin in this one and figure it out.
I think I'm pretty definitive there. You play Mixon, you play Sony, you play Ronald Jones in the flex.
It's either Ronald Jones or Mitchell. They're both in the conversation. I wouldn't rule Mitchell out just like that again, because you're talking about two smash spots. They're both in smash spots. I would have to think about that.
Okay, Mitchell's in unless Evans is out. I think that's fair. And we'll revisit. We'll revisit. I don't necessarily disagree. It's just it's a tough call. Fair.
And Trey Trey, you got Cup and DeAndre. Okay. So Cup is awesome. Obviously, it's a 16-team league. So obviously some roster spots are going to be filled by lower end options.
Yeah.
I mean, DeAndre Carter would create a stack with Heineke.
Is that a stack you want?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I would still lean. Oh my gosh. Goff with Amon-Ra and nobody else. I think that might be who I go with. Over Heineke and over who's the other option? Teddy, right?
Well,
or one of the
Teddy
Broncos
even,
quarterbacks. Yeah, right. Teddy might not. Let's just assume Drew Lock is available. I would play Goff. Well, yeah. Matchup's not bad. If it's a snow game again, like it was this past week, maybe I pivot to Heineke. But whatever. This Lions team is playing pretty well right now. They lost again this past week, but they're not.
They're playing hard. They're playing.
They're ending the season. They're playing hard. Yeah. I don't know if there's ever been a coach that has 2 wins at this point in the season and has never been more of a firm lock to keep his job.
Ryan Nagy would never.
Yeah. They're playing hard for the coach. That's an intangible that I would say is a feather in Goff's cap. So yeah, Trey, I would lean Goff to start the week. Let's keep an eye on the weather reports on Seattle, or in Seattle. If there's going to be conditions and elements that obviously that might change the decision. But for now, Goff.
There you go.
Eli, what's up?
What's going on, Eli? If Lamar can't go, I would be stacking Lance.
No, it's not a bad idea. Stack Lance with Debo and Kittle. Hell yeah. I think Lance is about to take. You want to talk about taking somebody's job? You just alluded to Isaiah McKenzie taking a job. Trey Lance takes the job for good this week. Calling it now.
I would hope so.
The 49ers might so. Actually. They should have taken their lumps earlier in the season with Lance instead of continuing to ride with Jimmy G. That's a separate conversation entirely. But yes, if you have Lance, do it. Stack with Debo, stack with Kittle. That's fine with me.
Stack it up.
Yeah, I would play Lance against Houston. Yes, do it.
Do it.
Stack it up. Dirtbag agrees. And Chuck, you had another. John fared pretty well this week. I fared pretty well in some lower end. I have some leagues that are lower stakes. Like I'm still interested. I'm in the championship game in a couple. One's a work league. One's an old work league, like former coworkers. Lower stakes. Still want to win. Obviously, John's got some bigger fish to fry than I do this week.
Yeah, I'm in 2 ships, and I currently have a fair amount of cash on the line in best balls. So, I didn't do as many best balls as Nick, but I do have some money on the line there.
I had a good year in best ball. I had a lot of progress. Advanced to the second knockout round out of 3. Didn't get any teams to the finals this year, but that's what this offseason is for.
And Nick, we're in a championship, are we not?
Yeah, that's right. We co-managed
so technically, yeah,
a startup. Yeah,
you're in a so you're in a championship.
Well, I'm in championship in 2 other leagues that I play in as well, but they're lower stakes. Like,
there we go.
not close friends. Like they're people, like people I work with or have worked with. But they're not like my close friends that where I have much more. There's more bragging rights. There's more trash talking, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I have some chips that I'm playing for. Obviously lower stakes than like a home keeper league or a dynasty league. But yeah, there's stuff on the line this week. But yeah, man, happy to help all year long. We plan to just do it all again next year.
Yeah, and talking with y'all has made us better fantasy managers, and we hope the same to you. So yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. Sure, Rojo's the one.
I'm pretty sure it's not that 55 yard run looked good, but it was a one play. Ronald Jones
didn't really
just straight up had a good game.
Right, Jones had the more, obviously more touches, higher snap share. What was Keyshawn Vaughn's snap share in that game? I feel like I didn't see him touch the ball again after that. 16 snap share. I mean, he looked good. He was weaving in and out. Looked fast on the play. I'm checking this out right now as far as snap share, but I don't think he didn't play all that much. He hit on one huge play. Vaughn played 24 snaps, 36%. So Jones saw 52%. I mean, yeah, you gotta ride the snap share.
I would think so.
Gotta ride the snap share.
Le'Veon Bell saw a 4% snap share.
I think Ronald Jones is the one in the smash spot. Could Keyshawn Vaughn do a little bit more this coming week? Sure. If he's going to see 25% of the snaps, hell yeah, he's got a shot. But Rojo's the one that you got to hitch your wagon to, seeing half the snaps and by far the most of the running backs. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about Keyshawn Vaughn in the offseason a little more. I think he is somebody to talk about in the offseason. But I think it's firmly Ronald Jones in Week 17. Now, if you need somebody off waivers, and there's literally nobody else, and you're in a 16-team league, and you desperately need somebody, maybe. But that's about it.
Kevin, what's going on?
What's going on, Kevin?
You think Dalvin Cook plays? He might. I mean,
he's got a chance.
What I last saw, anybody please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not right about this, but I think I saw that Dalvin Cook is not vaccinated. But if the NFL adopts the new CDC guidelines, which is that asymptomatic people have like a 5-day incubation period or quarantine period, whatever you want to call it, instead of 10 days, then Dalvin Cook's got a shot. And it sounds like the NFL is close to adopting these new guidelines. If that's the case, I don't know what I don't know is Dalvin Cook sick? Is he experiencing symptoms? If he is, his odds are not good. But if he's asymptomatic, yeah, he can play this week. Assuming if he's asymptomatic after 5 days, I think I'm saying this correctly, or if he submits a negative test, yeah, he can play. So I would say at least today, right now on Tuesday, I would say his odds are decent. I would say his odds are solid.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't play because I'm playing against him this week.
I think your opponent has Madison regardless.
Yeah, but I would still rather play Madison than Dalvin Cook.
I guess.
If I'm the opponent.
I mean, yes.
Of either.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah,
the answer is yes. But regardless, it's a good spot for whoever plays. But Dalvin Cook is obviously the better play.
Yeah.
I do think Cook has a good shot to play this week, though. I do. Assuming the NFL does what is kind of expected at this point and adopts those new guidelines.
You say Waddle?
Oh, I think we were talking about Austin Bonner's smash hits. The Titans give up tons of points to wide receivers. The Dolphins are their opponent this week. Jalen Waddle.
He has that a legit connection with Tua.
Man, I was not high enough on him this offseason.
Well,
Waddle can play.
You weren't wrong. You didn't say it was terrible.
No, I was a little concerned about his rise in ADP. And that's why I wasn't buying as much, at least in season long. That didn't hurt me at the beginning of the season, but Waddle looks good. He looks really good.
He could be a wide receiver 1 next year because he's almost a wide receiver 1 this year.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is. Last I checked, he was not. He was just outside of the rankings. But yeah, Waddle is legit, and so is Pittman. I just wish he had a better quarterback. And regardless of his quarterback being better or worse, his quarterback is out this week. So Nightmare, I would play Renfro.
What's up, Nightmare? Yeah, I would play Renfro as well.
Because Pittman's quarterback is going to be Sam Ehlinger.
Riff. Who do the Raiders get this week?
I do not know. Let me look it up.
I got it. They're playing. They're playing each other. They're playing the Colts. Yup, Renfro, and it's on the road. So or the Raiders are on the road, but it's in the dome. So no weather to be concerned about. Darren Waller is there. The Raiders are hopeful he returns this week. That might, hopeful could also equal wishful thinking. Even if Waller's able to return, will he be 100%? Will he be rusty?
Even if he is 100%, that just takes away from
it would take
Moreau
coverage away from Renfro.
And it would take away targets from Deshaun Jackson and Zay Jones. I don't think it would take many targets away from Renfro.
And the Colts secondary, I think, has been better recently, but still giving up decent production to wide receivers.
Yeah.
Renfro. They had a good game Christmas night. The Cardinals secondary did. Actually, their defense as a whole was pretty good. It was their offense that lost them that game. So maybe that's a testament to the Colts secondary. But that being said, Renfro is better than any of the Cardinals wide receivers, so he should have no problem.
Tim, you think the Falcons coach has been saying he wants to rest his veteran players? I haven't even heard that. Okay. That's
I would have to look that up.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think Cordero Patterson wants to play because
do the Falcons have anything to play for?
He's working on it. No,
why would they be resting their veteran players if they have nothing to play for?
Mm-hmm.
They would just be. We'll look into that. We'll look into that. That news, Tim. That's an interesting. It's an interesting thing for Arthur Smith to say if that's true. Richie, are Justin Jackson and Palmer droppable for either Darrell Williams, MVS, or Perryman? I have Eckler and Mike Williams.
Darrell Williams is a must-add.
I believe so.
Eckler is...
I would drop Justin Jackson over Palmer.
I would drop Jackson over Palmer. As far as I know, Austin Eckler is vaccinated, but he was actually experiencing symptoms last week. So he actually got sick. So Eckler's timeline is not necessarily clear. Hopefully this is something that maybe he took the weekend and now he's feeling better. Obviously Wednesday, Thursday practice reports will be very telling. But the fact that he's vaccinated would seem to suggest that his chances of returning are much faster and much better, despite the fact that he's been experiencing symptoms. If he's still experiencing symptoms, that's very bad, as far as, his status. Who are your other, given the fact that we kind of are aware of Austin Eckler was experiencing symptoms, depending on your wide receivers, I would say maybe Palmer is more droppable. But regardless, Darrell Williams should be added if you can get him, Richie, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not expected to play this week. Darrell Williams should see, more snaps than Derek Gore. In what could very well be a shootout in Cincinnati. So yes, Darrell Williams. I would say Darrell Williams over Palmer because you have Mike Williams. I would think Palmer is a little easier to get back than Justin Jackson would be if somebody's scrounging around the wire.
I guess.
Especially if the Eckler update is bad.
Yeah, but is Mike Williams coming back?
I don't know if Eckler's coming back.
But Eckler's straight up off the COVID list.
Was he activated off the COVID list?
At least on my Yahoo, he was eligible to come off with no designation.
So then, all right. So maybe that means Justin Jackson is yeah, they activated him yesterday.
Yeah, so I think I would
All
rather
right.
keep Palmer just in case Mike Williams doesn't play, because Palmer looks like a guy out there.
Yeah.
Not that Justin Jackson didn't fill in admirably for Eckler, but I think if Eckler's back, then you're not gonna see much Justin Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would drop Justin Jackson for Darrell Williams. Hold on to
I'm
Palmer.
down with that.
Yeah.
And then I think
And then hey, if Palmer or if Mike Williams comes back, then you can drop Palmer and pick up Justin Jackson again, just for insurance.
Sure, just
you know
in
what I mean?
case.
Then you're not losing out on your handcuff, just in case whatever happens this next week. You never know.
There you go.
But that's what I would do, Richie.
There you go. Tim, Patriots defense against Jacksonville or Miami? I really liked Miami last week, or I really liked Miami this past week. After knowing that they were going to be playing Ian Book, I'll pat myself on the back for that one. I'm going to swerve back to the Patriots though. They're playing Jacksonville. Down James Robinson. I think
Miami have?
They're on the road against Tennessee. That's not an offense totally deprived of talent right now, like the Saints are, who were down to third and fourth string players on the offensive line. I would play the Patriots at home in a must-win game against Jacksonville. I would play New England.
Yeah, I agree.
I would play New England against
the
Jacksonville.
The Patriots want to course correct.
They have to course correct.
Being not shut down or any, but beaten.
They've had two disappointing weeks by their expectations the past 2 weeks. This is a get right game for them. Jacksonville has not been significantly better since the firing of Urban Meyer.
No Josh Robinson. I would go Patriots.
Same with no James Robinson either.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I would play the Patriots, Tim. Rico, congrats on making the finals. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Dirtbag, you traded Chubb for Deebo Samuel. Smart play. You traded a guy like a running back one for a wide receiver one. Can't hate it all. Like, depending on your other running back options, like Deebo has been a top 5 option when he's played. Chubb is too, but it's a good player for a good player.
Yeah, Chubb gets Kareem Hunt back in the fold, so he won't see quite as much work. Takes a bit of a hit. So he takes a little bit of a hit. So yeah, I like that move moving forward for the next week or two, depending on whether you're in the finals or semifinals. So
yeah.
Rico, should you pick up the Bears defense or the Eagles defense?
Just keep the Eagles defense. The Washington looks like a train wreck right now.
I'm playing the Eagles defense in a championship matchup, so I think you should too.
The Bears are viable. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're playing the Giants. The Giants are not good. If it's Jake Fromm or Mike Glennon, who cares? It's a bad situation for the Giants. The Bears they're not a good team themselves. The Eagles at least are playing. The Eagles, the Eagles are not a Super Bowl contender, but the Eagles are in pole position to make the playoffs. They're playing for something. That's an intangible at this time of year that I'm interested in. So yes, the Bears have a phenomenal matchup, and I said a few weeks ago the Giants are an offense to target for opposing defenses. This is a week where I would play the Eagles, given your options and the situation.
There you go. We both go Eagles. And Tim, you have CPAT in 2 leagues. One is ESPN, one Yahoo. One can play wide receiver and running back.
Yep,
if this offseason, I would talk to your ESPN commissioner and see if you can switch to Sleeper.
Get that changed to Yahoo or Sleeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that being said, we got a long way to go till Sunday. Patterson still has to be in the mix for, do you fire him up?
Unless he's just a wide receiver. In which case, if you have clear-cut better options.
So the question below is, do you start A.J. Dillon or Michael Carter over Patterson? I would not play Carter against the Bucs. Dylan at home against the Vikings is absolutely interesting because the Vikings just got shredded by Sony Michel, and the Vikings season is on life support, and the Packers are at home.
But what's the one thing that you could say is the Bills' weakness on defense?
The Bills?
It's running the ball at them.
Is it? Their defense has been pretty strong against the run. Maybe in recent weeks they've not been as good.
In recent weeks.
Well, Damian Harris had a monster.
And they don't have their number one corner right now.
Damian Harris had a monster game against them. So
Damian Harris had a monster game, and yeah, the other guys that have had monster games are Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry, and Damian Harris in the matchup before that. But Cordero Patterson has been up there in terms of fantasy points. If he can get 8 to 10 rushes on the ground, I mean, he could absolutely rip a big one, keep that floor pretty high for him, and then catch a few dump off passes in garbage time because the Bills should be up. So
yeah.
I like CPAT. I like CPAT.
Yeah, right now I think I got to pencil Patterson in
over Dylan. I know Dylan's got a smash spot, but I mean,
Dylan's got a smash spot.
I like CPAT. He's been a
Dylan's
wide receiver, running back one for the majority of the year.
Yeah.
I think you can.
I think I got to pencil him in.
You can roll with him again.
I think I got to pencil him in.
Yeah, I mean, we'll check out that Falcons report again, and if we find anything definitive on that, we'll talk about it a little bit more in the next stream on Saturday. But right now, I got to pencil him in. And Dirtbag, I got the last waiver, so I'll get back to you guys with that question. Fair enough.
Cool.
Sad J Cutler was popping. Half PPR.
What's up, Sad J?
Starting Rojo, Sony, and Najee.
Sure.
If Wilson, Eli is alone in the backfield, would you start one of them over Rojo or any of the other two? Thanks, fellas.
Maybe. I think John is a little bit more definitively no on this. I'm a little bit more like, if Elijah Mitchell is back against Houston, he's got an argument.
Mitchell is back against Houston.
He's got an argument.
Mike Evans is back. Then fine, play Elijah Mitchell. But I'm standing on if Mike Evans is not playing for the Buccaneers against the Jets, then Rojo is in the boom spot of all boom spots. He's in that smash spot. He is. I know you like any running back playing Houston. Any running back playing the Jets is even better.
It's also good. I mean, you're talking about two smash spots. Ronald, like, by the numbers, the Jets are the smashiest of smashes. So it's tough, Sad J. Let's see how practice shakes out this week. Especially with the 49ers.
Would you play him over Najee? Elijah Mitchell?
They play Cleveland. I don't know. I think Pittsburgh's at home. At this point, if they were on the road, I would think about it. But because they're at home, I think I'm a little more inclined to say roll with Najee. And even in a terrible game for the Steelers, he had 19.
The Cleveland Browns give up the 10th least amount of fantasy points to opposing running backs.
Yeah, it's not a good matchup.
19 fantasy points to opposing running backs.
But they're at home, and to me, that's a bit of an equalizer.
Fair.
We might have to come back to that one this weekend, Sad J. I don't know that I can sit Najee. But if one of those 49ers is alone in the backfield, let's revisit. Let's revisit after we see these Wednesday, Thursday practice reports.
Iron never lies. What's happening?
What's up, Iron?
If Waller plays this week, would you start him over Everett? Yes.
I think you have to.
If he plays this week, I would definitely start him over Everett. If he's
think you have to.
He's a threat to be a tight end, a top 5 tight end.
You play for a jersey. That's cool. That's all. That's been an interest. Like, I've always thought of like maybe like a Sacco punishment that's not too severe. Not that I want to like, spend money or spend other people's money, but like the Sacco buys the champ a jersey or something like of their choice, like from their team, something like that. I don't know. I always thought that would be fun, but I never proposed it. I never put it into existence until now. Actually, I don't think. But yeah, no, playing for jerseys cool.
I like that. As
Look,
an alternative
Everett's
to the trophy. I like that.
Everett's playing well recently, but I think even despite the recent absence, I think I got to play Waller in a must win, in a winner take all, like winner go home situation. I think I got to play Waller.
Everett had 4 for 68 and a touchdown in last game. Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's been good. He's been good.
He's been getting
Far as-
touchdowns.
I mean, his ADP was like dirt cheap this year.
Yeah.
So relative to
Yeah.
expectations,
Yeah.
Everett's been pretty good.
Would
far as
rather
I'm
play
concerned.
Waller.
Yeah. Would still probably play Waller.
Austin Bonner top 5 defense options this week.
I forgot about the defense and the kickers for the smash spot suggestions. I mean, who's playing the San Francisco, right? Playing Houston, New England, playing Jacksonville. The Bills are in a great spot playing Atlanta. I think the Saints are the Saints at home again. Are they in their dome this week? That would and obviously if they get Taysom Hill back, that would help. Yeah,
Yes.
They're at home against
They are.
Carolina. New Orleans is a good spot. Tampa is an obvious smash spot against the Jets. Maybe the top option. Tampa might be the top option. I would say, San Francisco, some combination of San Francisco, New England, Buffalo, New Orleans, and Tampa Bay would be my 5.
Who is better, Cooper or Debo? I'm guessing that's Cooper Kupp and not Amari Cooper.
Could be Amari Cooper.
Um,
I mean, if it's Kupp,
They're better at
if
different
you're talking about
things,
Cooper
man.
Kupp, then Kupp. If it's Amari Cooper, then Debo. Kupp, Debo, Amari.
Yes. I
yeah.
agree with that. I would say they're better at different things, man. Like Cooper Kupp is just a pure alpha dog wide receiver. You can do anything. You can line up anywhere on the field and succeed against pretty much anyone at this point right now. Debo is just a man amongst boys.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, and he can do it out of the backfield. He's a different type of wide receiver,
Yak
offensive
monster.
weapon than Cooper. What's that?
He's a yak monster.
Yeah, and then Amari Cooper's just I think
He's
he's
boom
just
bust.
a deep ball boom bust guy. Yeah,
He's good. He's talented, but he has downside.
that's just there are better wide receivers in his own offense, whereas Cooper Kupp and Debo, you're hard pressed to find better wide receivers in the NFL. But I think CeeDee Lamb is a better wide receiver than Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but yeah. Better long term. Like maybe they're kind of even right now, but CeeDee's obviously his arrow is way up, way higher.
Yo, Dirtbag, I feel your pain, man. I'm sorry. That sucks.
Oh. Dude, sometimes crap happens and there's just nothing you can do about it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, I traded to Nick in a dynasty league, Boston Scott and Samaje Perine, and wouldn't you know, this week
would have been a good
I
week to
need
have
Boston
Scott. I'm in like the 5th place game. No, my season's
and I
done. The
lost
5th place
James
game was last
Robinson
week.
and Miles
So I have-
Sanders, so
so
I
Boston
need
Scott
Boston
Scott will not be used this week in that league because
Yeah.
I just played in the 5th place game. So my season's done. So Boston Scott is just gonna be chilling.
Sometimes you go for you drop your handcuff and then you end up needing them. I don't know. Trade away your handcuff, you end up needing
Crap
them. It
happens. It happens.
It's all the more reason to handcuff as you get later into the season. You probably were Dirtbag and then you just had to change things up because COVID year, multiple reasons, injuries. Something happened, you dropped Ronald Jones, and never thinking that Ronald Jones would come into prominence after, seeing what Leonard Fournette
He wasn't
was
for
doing,
the first
but-
75%
yeah, man,
of the
I know,
season.
I know, I get it.
No, like that's the thing. It's like this dude's he's been doing nothing for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
Boston
weeks now.
Scott.
It's like
Same deal.
Yeah, same deal. It's like there's only so many.
It's just not to the same extent. Ronald Jones should have had the week of his life last week and should replicate that again this week.
This is why I like playing best ball in April and May, because everybody's in the same boat no matter what. That's all. That's just another plug for best ball from me.
Fair.
Nobody can be dropped. Nobody can be picked up. Nothing. Anyway,
is Isaiah McKenzie
a must start?
Point?
Not over. I mean, Tim, with your roster, not necessarily. If it's your ESPN roster where you have Adams, you have AJ Brown, you have T Higgins, then no, he's not.
I'm not playing him over CPAT.
Yeah, I would say he's not a must start.
But that's the cutoff for me.
In a 14,
anybody below CPAT in your rankings, I might be playing Isaiah McKenzie over him.
In a 14-16 team league,
McKenzie.
Then yeah, 14-16 team league, yeah, he's probably a must start in those deep leagues.
You're talking about the upside of a Cole Beasley who's younger, healthier, speedier. With Josh Allen, I mean, where are you going to find that elsewhere right now on the wire? You're not. You got 12 targets, 100-something yards. I mean, that sounds like a Cole Beasley stat line. The fact that he got the touchdown on top of that's just icing on the cake, because Cole Beasley isn't really known for his touchdown or red zone prowess, but he's known for racking up receptions and racking up yards.
Somewhat,
McKenzie's doing the same thing.
Just a quick breaking news. This doesn't have anything to do with fantasy, but this is relevant to football. Coaching legend John Madden passed away this morning.
Well, damn.
He was 85 years old. This news is just coming out. Apparently, this happened this morning. This may have been kept hush hush for a little while, if that's accurate. But Adam Schefter's now reporting it. The NFL Network is currently doing some coverage on it. If you care, or if you care to check that out. But just wanted to call that out, throw that out there. John Madden passed away today.
Damn.
So that's pretty sad.
Well,
so just wanted to shout that out. Obviously, massive influence in the football world and the football sphere, and that's exactly the circles that we're all talking in right now. So he probably had some type of influence, some way or another, in this room.
I mean, that was my first real introduction to the sport.
Yeah,
really. I mean, my first two football memories were I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin when the Green Bay Packers won their Super Bowl with Brett Favre. One of them. I think they only won one. Or did they win two?
With Favre, they won one.
They won one. Well, I was in Milwaukee for that, and I remember that. My second one was getting Madden 98.
I mean, we all have. I have to imagine we all have Madden, or have had a Madden game at some point.
You're playing Madden right now, dirtbag. That's what. Yeah, see.
There you go.
I remember in those old Maddens, in the PS1 Maddens, if you ran the goal line play where everybody's lined up in a line, you beat any other play. It didn't matter what the defenses or the offense was doing.
It just worked. I mean, you're talking about the NFL game, the NFL video game. Like, it put out of business any other competition.
It did.
So, I mean, you want to talk about influential. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair word to describe John Madden as influential. So I wasn't around for the NFL when he was coaching the Raiders to Super Bowls, and but I was young. I'm old enough to remember hearing him on Monday Night Football. with Al Michaels. I'm old enough to remember when he was still doing the broadcasting, and people loved him. I wasn't around. I wasn't paying attention to the NFL when he was broadcasting with Sumerall. But I remember the Al Michaels broadcasts, like the Monday Night Football. That's the Monday Night Football that I grew up with John Madden. So anyway, just wanted to call that out. Give some kudos to an NFL legend.
And there's a really cool YouTube video out there on John Madden and how he came about making the games, and it was interviewing the person that the computer programmer that helped make the first Madden game and went into that. And apparently he spent like months and months and months just going back and forth with John Madden and this programmer, and they even took a long train ride together where they were like pasting pieces of paper up on the wall of John Madden telling this programmer what he wanted and how he wanted it. And it was kind of a cool listen. So if you look on YouTube for that, you can see it. It's just a little, I thought it was interesting.
Okay.
How he came up with the games. But that's sad to hear.
Sad to hear. Let's all make a turducken in 2022 in his honor.
Pour one out.
Yeah, pour one out tonight for John.
But let's get back to it. John Edwards asks Swift, Boston Scott, or Jeff Wilson if Swift plays.
If Swift plays. Swift.
Swift. If not,
I mean, Boston Scott.
Boston Scott.
No Miles Sanders.
Unless Elijah Mitchell doesn't play.
Swift, if he's in. If he's not and Elijah Mitchell is in, then Boston Scott. If Elijah Mitchell is not in and Swift is not in, then Jeff Wilson.
Right, because Boston Scott still has to contend with Kenneth Gainwell and Jordan Howard. So you have to keep that in mind. Jeff Wilson would have no competition if Elijah Mitchell ain't out. But yeah, go Swift if he's in.
Swift if he plays. Wilson if Swift and Elijah Mitchell are out. Boston Scott if Swift is out and Elijah Mitchell is in.
And Tim, do you need to keep Justin Jackson?
If you have Eckler, and I don't think
for him.
If you have space and you have Eckler, then sure. If not, then nah. Not necessarily, because I think Eckler's with him getting activated off the COVID list, that is an incredibly positive sign for Eckler's availability this week. So you do not need to keep him.
Krasi, Saturday.
Krasi.
Pittman,
like
Ayuk, Devonta for championship week, half PPR.
Smith.
We advised Smith to somebody who had the same exact question earlier in the chat.
I mean, right. Pittman's down to Sam Ellinger as his quarterback.
Ayuk is going to have Trey Lance, most likely, so we're not sure if Trey Lance is going to play favorites or even be effective passing the ball. We just don't know. Complete unknown.
Could be a lot more running. Could be a lot more running the ball for San Francisco.
Seems like a better bet. He's coming off a decent week.
Washington gives up lots of points to opposing wide receivers.
Yep.
Devontae Smith.
And you hope Waller doesn't come back.
This is the
You have Renfro, fair.
It sounds like it's like wishful thinking, but obviously, let's see how the practice reports.
But Renfro, I think, is going to be steady regardless, even if Waller.
Renfro will be fine, even if I would play Renfro, even if Waller's back, no doubt.
And Patterson is having a career year, and that's why I'd keep playing him even over Isaiah McKenzie, who I love this week. But and Nick called Miami. Nick called Miami.
Thanks
for the past few weeks.
Appreciate the shout out.
I was in on him too, just not to the same extent as Nick. And
I feel like I botched some kicker suggestions, but although I think I said Koo was pretty good. I know, or this past week, I'm pretty sure Koo had a couple of long field goals, so that worked out. But thanks for remembering that.
And John Alvarez, I'm glad you're in the finals.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, man. That's what we want to hear. And Dirtbag made that was the Chubb for Debo trade when you were 0-3. So that probably worked out for you a little bit then, because Chubb missed time, maybe not like week 4 or 5, but when did Chubb miss time around? Like, what was it week 7, week 8, or something like that?
Yeah.
Chubb missed time and Debo remained mostly healthy. I think he missed 1 game this year, which is phenomenal. Chubb missed time week 6 and 7, so you missed him week 5. He had a blow up game week 5, but week 6 and 7 he was hurt, and week 8 his first game back was kind of blah. So yeah, good move.
Good job. John, your RB situation chugs along. You currently have Burkhead, Justin Jackson, Craig Reynolds, Penny, Dare, and Boston Scott on the wire.
We want Boston Scott. And at this
Penny.
point, well, Penny.
If Rashad Penny is on the wire, Rashad Penny had another good game. Rashad Penny. I think the move is Rashad Penny. I think the move is Rashad Penny, and then Boston Scott. But if you can get Rashad Penny, go get Rashad Penny.
Yeah, Penny at home against Detroit. I think that's got to be the move.
Yeah, if that's Elijah Penny, then leave it alone. But if that's Rashad,
Craig Reynolds can be dropped. Justin Jackson can be dropped.
Well, I think these are on the wire. So pick up Penny.
He said
off
he currently has Burkhead, Justin Jackson, Craig Reynolds.
Sorry.
I would drop Craig Reynolds. What did he do this past week?
I don't even know. All I know is Penny had himself a game.
Penny had himself a nice day.
And Mr. Heinen is out of the playoffs because we suggested somebody else over Penny.
Jamal Williams.
Yes. Which, hey, if Mr. Heinen, if you're in here, I would have.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that. But if I was in your position, I would have played. I would have played Williams, and I would have been in the same situation you are.
Detroit running back like against Atlanta, it looked like a good situation.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
So, sorry, Mr. Heinen.
But yeah, John, I would pick up Penny and drop Craig Reynolds.
Definitely.
And then Boston Scott
for Justin Jackson.
Sure, or I would put in a claim for Rashad Penny to drop Craig Reynolds, and then put another one for Rashad Penny, drop or make that your top one, and then Boston Scott. Drop for Craig Reynolds if you miss on Penny, and Boston Scott if you drop or if you miss on Justin Jackson if you have to, or whatever.
Get that 3-tiered.
Get those 3-tiered waiver claims in. This is the time of year to do that type of stuff.
Yep. And Dirtbag, I'm not sure what the same for me is too, but word. Cali Loco.
It's been a little while. We let these questions and comments pile up a little bit, so appreciate everybody's patience.
Yeah.
What's
Loco,
up, Cali?
Hey, what's going on, man? Going to the finals in my non-PPR league.
Let's go.
There you go.
Need a
DST
defense
next week. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Seattle. 2 points per sack. Bonus points. Long distance returns.
Pittsburgh and Cleveland play each other on Monday night in Pittsburgh. Cleveland's the better team. Pittsburgh's at home. Seattle gets Detroit at home. They were a trendy pickup. Seattle was this past week, playing the Bears at home. What'd they get? 4 sacks. It's pretty good. They gave up 25 points, so that's not as good. Against the Lions, though, that's kind of enticing. If DeAndre Swift is out again, I would say maybe Seattle, because now Detroit's down to Amon-Ra St. Brown and not much else on offense. This might get me in trouble, but I think I would pick Pittsburgh over Cleveland as my other choice. Neither team is that good. Pittsburgh's probably worse than Cleveland at this point, especially on defense. But they're at home, and Baker Mayfield's just not having a good year. I think I would say Seattle first and then Pittsburgh.
I'd go Seattle.
What's the early line on that Steelers-Browns game? I'm going to look that up if you could go to the next question.
I mean, I'm playing the defense that's playing the Lions out of those choices. If Pittsburgh and Cleveland are playing each other. Divisional matchup, weird things happen. I'm just going with Seattle versus the Lions.
Which would still be my first choice as well. I just want to make sure my second choice for Pittsburgh is well thought out over here. Cleveland is 3-point favorites at home. Or on the road. That just tells you how bad Pittsburgh is. Yeah, Seattle. And then if you don't get Seattle, we'll figure it out from there.
And Tim, if the Falcons are down big, do you think they will throw a
Yeah.
lot to Gage?
It might not be pretty against Buffalo, but yeah, I mean, got to figure Gage and Kyle Pitts both get a lot of targets. It might be ugly, but he should get targets.
And Gage only goes off in losses.
Well, it's going to be a loss. Can't imagine anybody picking Atlanta to upset the Bills on the road this
Unless
time of
Calvin
year.
Ridley comes back.
Even then. Nah. I expect them to be trailing. So, yeah, I expect Russell Gage to get work.
And no Tre'Davious White again. So
Right. So,
and I think Levi Wallace, their second cornerback, did exit the game against the Patriots with an injury. I don't know his status, but that's something to monitor as well, especially if you're a CPAT owner as well. They could be down their top 2 cornerbacks, not just their top number 1 cornerback. So that's something that I will check up on, and I will advise you guys on Saturday once I have a clearer picture. But keep that in mind. But yeah, Russell Gage is a solid play against a team that they should be down against for the majority of the game.
Yep. Always look to like a good, that's a kind of a good mindset to have. Look for, if you're looking for a wide receiver 3, look for a guy who on a team where you expect them to be trailing in the game. So, because that team will be throwing.
Helps if they have a gunslinger quarterback.
Well, yeah. But
Falcons technically do. Not a great quarterback, just a gunslinger.
Sure.
Kylie Loco, flex non-PPR bonus, pick 2, Pollard, Javonte, Singletary. I think you know where we're going with this one.
Conventional wisdom says Javonte Williams, even though Devin Singletary is in a smash spot this week.
Well, pick 2. I'm going Javonte and Singletary.
Oh, pick 2. I'm sorry. I don't know. I associated pick 2 somehow with bonus. I don't know. Javonte and Singletary. Yeah. Javonte in a bounce back game. Denver gets
last week.
Did Denver play the Chargers this week? I think that's their opponent. Which, if that's the case, Rex Burkhead just ran wild against. Yeah, they do. Yes, Javonte is also in a smash spot this week. Javonte and Devin Singletary both are in smash spots. Pollard's got a much tougher matchup, and without a big play. I think he had a good game. He had a good game against Washington. He didn't have like his home run 8 for 34, 2 for 16. Obviously, like not what you're looking like. Decent game in a vacuum, but not what you're looking for from your flex in a 10 or 12 team league, right? So, and now the matchup is tougher against Arizona. Javonte and Singletary. And yeah, Big Con saw that earlier. Bruce Arians tested positive for COVID. I think the update was he's at home, he's isolating. So yeah, Tom Brady, don't go anywhere near Bruce Arians' house.
Or Rojo.
Yeah, or Rojo, or AB, or any of the Bucks offensive players in general, or their defense. Everybody
Tom
stay away
Brady
from
has
Bruce
a
Arians.
habit of breaking into coaches' houses. So
What?
he did that in the offseason. Don't you remember? He broke into. It was like against the rules for like coaches to hold meetings. So Tom Brady broke into one of the coaches' houses and they had a meeting. And then
Was this year?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
I must have missed
Yeah.
that. I have Tom
Yeah,
Brady
Tom Brady-
everywhere. I have
Tom
Tom Brady,
Brady,
in so many leagues and best balls. I feel like I've
I
been
believe
pretty
it was this
glued
past
to his
year.
news
Tom Brady-
to updates about him. I don't know how I missed that one if that's the case. But yeah, don't either way, don't be breaking into Bruce Arians' house this week. Not
Oh,
a
here
good
we
idea.
go. April 20th or 23rd, 2020. Tom Brady enters a stranger's house in latest Tampa misstep. It wasn't this past year. It was the year before.
Okay. Still, COVID
He tried-
protocols were, still in
Yeah.
place. So Brady doesn't care though. He needs to do whatever he needs to win games.
Yep.
What's up, Archum?
What's going on, Archum?
QB situation got worse with Heineke. Yeah, not a good game, but honestly,
And Jimmy
Dallas'
G getting injured.
defense is good. Hoping Huntley plays. Ellinger, Glennon are on waivers. Not Glennon. Holy hell, he's awful. I mean, Ellinger, or Ellinger. I'm not. I gotta double check the specific.
We got a
pronunciation.
video on him. So if you want to
At least he runs. Like I would say, Ellinger obviously, if you have Huntley, hang on to him, even though I think Lamar might be expected back this week. Obviously, that's not confirmed. But yeah, I mean, if you got to go with one of these options, I would say Ellinger just because he runs.
Yeah. And he's probably, at this point, probably not going to get benched for somebody else. And that we've seen Glennon get benched. We've seen Glennon come back for the guy that started in his place after he got benched.
I think Glennon might just finish this. Like Jake Fromm was
might.
pretty bad against the Eagles.
But I would go.
Not that Glennon has been good, but
I would go Ellinger.
I would say Ellinger.
At least he got some weapons. He's
got Taylor to lean on. So maybe he can flip it to him a couple of times.
Right.
I would play Ellinger.
He's got Pittman and a healthy Ty.
Yeah, offensive line is like if Quentin Nelson can get back from the COVID list, the offensive line stays pretty strong.
Yeah.
Ellinger.
Yep.
Yeah, dirtbag. I mean,
the
whatever.
Guys don't smite me. Yeah,
COVID is that's the thing that's the biggest pain. It is unpredictable, and there's nothing we can do to control it. As the thing we can do the most is just offer flexibility to your league and your league mates. And
prepare for it yourself. I mean,
right.
If there's any year to handcuff, now's the year. If there's any year to drop every wide receiver you have and fill your bench with running backs, now's the year.
I mean, I would say even going into next year, expand your IR spots, add 3, add 4, add IR spots. Because that also is a level playing field for the entire league. Everybody has the same number of IR spots, because you don't know when it's going to hit you.
Yeah, and even if you have a few IR spots, I would argue there should be more.
Sure, because your point about handcuffing is you're more likely to be able to do that if you have enough IR spots.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Add IR spots. That's the best way. I mean, that's obviously a conversation for the offseason or going into the season. But if we're dealing with this again next year, and I hate to say it, we can't assume that we won't be, or we can't assume that this will, that we won't be dealing with this next year. IR spots. Add them. Add more. Anyway, we talked a little bit about John Madden. Rest in peace one more time to a legend.
I think I might have to change my fantasy names.
I think you got to keep your John in honor of Philly slang, and then that's an homage to him at this point. You're not hating on
John
him.
Madden, pour some out.
Yeah, you're not hating on him with that, or you weren't making fun of him. It's just a good, Anyway, you do you. But anyway, Michael, what's going on? Which Eagle running back is worth grabbing? Boston Scott. I would say Boston Scott.
Upside also rushes. Had a touchdown last game.
And when Miles Sanders has missed, it's been one of those classic situations where Jordan Howard kind of stayed in his role, and Boston Scott was the one who saw more work in Sanders' absence. So Boston Scott is the Eagle. Is the Eagle running back worth owning? It's a crapshoot ultimately. The Eagles play musical chairs or eeny, meeny, miny, mo with their running backs. John used that in a video this offseason. I can't remember which one. Was it Baltimore? I don't remember. Either way, the Eagles play eeny, meeny, miny, mo with their running backs a little bit. So it's a little difficult to kind of totally figure this situation out on a week-to-week basis. But with Miles Sanders definitely out, and with Jordan Howard dealing with a stinger, Boston Scott would appear to be the obvious choice.
And I believe it is worth grabbing Burkhead, but you can't expect last week again.
No, not against San Francisco. They're actually good against the run.
I expect him to get somewhere in between what he's gotten the past few weeks and what he got last week.
Yeah.
10 points, 12 points, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's worth grabbing, but I wouldn't play him unless you're, don't have too many other options.
Daggers, what's happening?
What's up, Daggers?
Seahawks 49ers this week.
San Francisco against Houston. I mean, obviously, it's a little less enticing if Brandon Cooks can come back for the Texans. He's
But
a
even
game
then, they're
breaker.
not. I mean, he's a game breaker, but they're not a scary team. Even with
49ers are good. They have a strong pass rush. They get sacks. I expect them to win this game. I can't just, even though they're at home, I can't just assume the Seahawks are a layup even against the lowly Detroit Lions because the Seahawks aren't good. They just lost to the Bears at home. That's pretty bad. Like, see, the Seattle's as down bad as you can get right now. The 49ers are playing for something, and their opponent is not scary at all, and they actually have a good pass rush. San Fran.
And yeah, Michael, the video game thing, I remember it did involve copyrights because there wasn't there ESPN 2K or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. NFL
that
Live.
they had as like a
NFL 2K.
NFL 2K, something like that. Yeah, it was. And they had that up until like around 2006, I believe, and then Madden got the full copyrights right before or right around the PlayStation 3 came out. Because I remember there was no 2K version of a football game on a PlayStation 3. It was all Madden from then on. So yeah, man, crazy.
All Madden.
His commentary was legendary.
Yeah.
Nick showed me the video of a long time ago. Nick showed me the video of him drawing questionable
when he was
characters on the screen.
Yeah, it was against it was an Eagles Cowboys game. Yeah, he drew some genitalia on the screen.
There you go.
Pretty good. Love Madden. Anyway, Tim. Okay, let's see. Patterson, Hill, DK. Rojo should probably be in. Darrell Williams should probably be in. Andrews is the tight end 1 right now. Gage, McKenzie, Wilson, so it's 3 receivers. Hill, obviously.
C-Pat.
I think I gotta play Patterson. I know the past 2 weeks they've hurt, but
and then they got Rojo and D.
so
Will
good.
in your running back spots.
Right.
3 wide receiver though, so I guess you got to be playing DK. You got Andrews in your tight end spot, and then it's
who you got to play
flex.
DK. You were just poo pooing.
I know, but it's 3 wide receiver. Who else are you gonna play over him?
McKenzie or Gage.
Yeah, but then one of them goes into your flex, doesn't it? So either you're playing DK in your flex, because I'm playing. I think I'm still playing DK over Gage.
Are you? I don't know. Maybe play Gage and McKenzie.
I gotta think about that, man.
Gotta think about that one.
I
Put a
think
pin
I
in
would
that.
play McKenzie over DK.
I might play Gage over DK. I mean, it's against the freaking Lions too, of all teams. But like, I don't know. He's hard to trust right now. Seattle's hard to trust. They're going.
But I think,
I truly think.
I think DK would be in my flex if I'm not putting him in the wide receiver 3 spot. So McKenzie and him are interchangeable to me at this point.
How the mighty have fallen. I don't know. Vibes don't feel great about DK, even though he finally connected for a score.
No, I mean we brought him up earlier in the stream, and you saw how I talked about him. I wasn't too enthused with the with what he did last week, despite getting a touchdown. But I think with your lineup, Tim, you got to play him if it's 3 wide receiver and flex. Considering, I mean, I'm not playing Rex Burkhead over DK. So it's really, are you going Gage, McKenzie, or DK in your last 2 spots? And just call me a Gage hater. I'm not playing Gage over those guys.
Okay.
Right now. Let me think about it.
I might.
Can you ask your question again on Saturday, Tim?
I might. I'll just say right now, I
really
might.
need to sit
I
with this
think
one.
I think this Seattle offense is. I mean, sure, Rashad Penny, but like this passing attack is not what you could have possibly expected coming into the season.
I mean, it was a weather game. We weren't holding the weather against that in Buffalo, that one game against any of the Bills' skill position players. Russell Wilson has looked progressively better in each game, with the exception of last game. The game before that, with just DK out there, he did look decent. He just didn't connect with DK at more than half the times, and didn't score a touchdown with them. I'm gonna have to come back to this in a few days, man.
We'll think about it.
Right now, I would be playing DK in wide receiver 3 and Isaiah McKenzie in your flex.
I'm not convinced I don't play Gage over DK, but yeah, let's sleep on that one and come back to it this weekend.
Richie, Madden 94 on Super Nintendo was your first Madden game. All right.
I think mine was like 96, 98. I can't remember.
That was 98.
Yeah,
so
man.
you got 4 years on me, man. But you remember those old school ones? You remember those old school ones?
That's how we
where
started.
Each player was like three little squares on the thing.
Yeah. You mean like the graphics? Yeah. It was.
Yeah. Tecmo Bowl. Remember that one?
We're going way back.
With Bo Jackson on it. I remember that in the arcades.
Yeah.
I could
We're
never
pouring
get on
one
it
out
'cause
for
all the other bigger kids were always
pouring
on
one
that
out for
shit.
Madden tonight.
Yeah.
Pouring one out for Madden tonight. But yeah. Shane, what's going on? Start
What's going on,
Lamar or start the Ravens quarterback or Trey Lance.
Lamar, if he's playing.
I would maybe play with Trey Lance.
Over Lamar?
Maybe. Lamar's coming up. Like, this Ravens team is spiraling out right now. I know he hasn't been there. He hasn't been a part of it.
I'm not playing Trey Lance over Lamar Jackson.
In this spot, I might.
Well, then, hey, all right, we're split, Shane.
In this spot,
I think Nick is crazy.
You can think I'm crazy. That's fine.
He is going Trey
It's
Lance.
an awful matchup by the numbers. Like, I know it's Lamar. I understand that, but he's coming off an injury that has forced him to miss the past 2.5 games or 3 games if you want to include the game where he got hurt. I mean, the Ravens have lost 4 straight. Like, 2 of them are close games, but like, loss is a loss. I don't know.
Trey Lance has done absolutely nothing. So what do you mean,
I don't hate Trey
bro?
Lance against Houston.
All your points mean nothing because Trey Lance has done absolutely nothing except get picked high in the NFL.
Still this week.
Lamar Jackson, and I think you're crazy.
That's fine.
But whatever. Sorry, Shane.
Lots of people think
you're gonna drive us to into an argument with that one.
It's okay. I'm ready for it.
Tim, your opponent has Mahomes, Chase, Cup, Diggs, Mixon, Hines, Everett, Myers. That's a solid squad.
Top heavy.
Yeah.
You can come out on top of that.
Hines, Everett, Myers isn't the best.
Hines takes
there.
a huge hit with them. Well, he may mix in a little bit more, but
he takes a hit, bro. They're gonna lean on JT.
Yeah.
He takes a hit. And Dirtbag, you got a nice collection of classic Maddens. Which ones?
There you go.
So do I. I'm a big fan of PlayStation 2 Maddens. They had a great franchise mode I still play. And I don't know if you remember, in some of those PlayStation 2 Maddens, they had the mini games like Rushing Attack. Rushing Attack.
Yeah, everybody Rushing Attack was super popular.
That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. I still play that with the guys every once in a while. Michael D'Ambrosio, Trey Lance, or Dak? Well, Nick is going Trey Lance because.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
okay, there
Nick
I'll
is
say
going
Dak.
Trey Lance.
Nah, there I'll say Dak.
Trey Lance Trey Lance is the quarterback version of Javonte Williams for Nick.
Shh. If you play Dynasty, buy Trey Lance before.
Well,
it's too
yes, but not for this week.
Sure, they're playing Houston.
I mean, if I'm buying.
I'm playing
Lance,
Dak. I'm playing Dak over Trey Lance, but Lamar is Lamar. But don't get me wrong. But like, Dak's not the one coming off a 3-week ankle injury. So I'm playing Dak. I'm playing Dak over Trey Lance. But Trey Lance is there are worse swerves this week. You watch him wait.
I'm not playing Lamar Jackson. Or I'm not benching Lamar Jackson for Trey Lance. I'm sorry, that's crazy.
Those practice reports
crazy talk.
Better be pretty glowing this week for Lamar. But no, I'm playing Dak over Trey Lance. Yes. At home, could be a shootout against Arizona. Playing Dak.
Jay Bribieska, what's going on? What's a better final strategy? Stash your own handcuff running backs or grab other potential RB1s off waivers? Ultimately, it depends what those RB1s are. If it's like if Tony Pollard is on the wire, then that's yes. You grab potential RB1, grab him. If Madison is on the wire because somebody thinks that Cook is coming back, grab one of them. But honestly, I'd stick to your own handcuffs over somebody else's first. Then make sure you get yours, and then go after theirs.
This year throws this question into chaos. Because
at this point, I'm grabbing anyone I can find.
Sure, but all it takes is like a Thursday report or a Friday report, like so and so tests positive for COVID. Boom, toast, done for the week. Like, it's tough. Honestly, like ahead of waivers, I think the way you need to operate is assume your guys are going to play and target the other potential RB1s. But like, just, you got to be ready this week. Be ready for updates. So-and-so status updated from out to COVID-19. Be all over that waiver wire. Because somebody random might end up being viable, who you weren't expecting. The handcuff this year, I feel like it's smart to hang on to them going into waivers, but they are easy drops after waivers, depending on the updates we get regarding COVID.
This year is the.
It's such a weird
year where you have to be the most fluid
year
with your bench of any season in recent memory.
It's such a it's a good
if
question because it's a difficult question to answer this year.
If
because
I have a handcuff, I want to keep them, but I might be in a situation like Dirtbag was a few weeks ago where I had Leonard Fournette rolling. Everything looks good going into the game, looks fine. I drop Ronald Jones to pick up somebody else, shore myself up elsewhere, and then Leonard Fournette goes down. So, I mean, you never know.
Sure.
But it's better to be fluid to make sure you win the week versus trying to look out for yourself in the following week. You don't want to look too far ahead.
Well, not anymore. There's no more weeks to look ahead.
If somebody's in the semifinals, I know there's at least
one
person in the semifinals this week in here. But I mean, handcuff up. Yeah. I'm of the position that you handcuff up, and then you go out and fill up the rest of your bench with other people's handcuffs, and you really kind of punt wide receivers outside of your go-to guys, because it's a much more replaceable position if you got to swerve.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you need to swerve for running backs and you waited too long and you don't have anybody on your bench, you're out of luck playing somebody that's going to put up zeros. So I'd handcuff up.
There you go.
Tim, I need Lamar to stay out for Mark Andrews' sake. Yeah, man. Hey, Mark Andrews has put up like 25-plus point weeks.
He's put up stupid weeks
in
with
some of the
backup
leagues
QBs
that I have him in with 2 different backups in 3 straight weeks. So yeah,
he's
man.
QB proof. He's QB proof.
I mean, he didn't look this good with Lamar Jackson. I think that was because a lot of his production with Lamar without those backup quarterbacks goes to a Hollywood Brown.
Lamar was keen on Hollywood this year.
I mean, we saw Rashad Bateman get pretty much the same kind of workload. This past week he cashed in, but all of Hollywood Brown's production has gone to Mark Andrews. We'll see if that continues.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't in recent weeks with Lamar Jackson, so we'll see. And Dirtbag, yeah, try and get Scott.
Yeah, try and get Boston Scott. You could do worse on the wire this week.
Archum, need another running back. Which one would you pick? Devonta Freeman, Donta Foreman, Keyshawn Vaughn, Craig Reynolds, or Daria Bungawale?
Tennessee plays Miami this week, so I don't know that Foreman is necessary. I mean, Foreman might be fine at home. He fell into the end zone on Thursday night. That was another tough matchup by the numbers against San Francisco. maybe Foreman, not Vaughn, not Reynolds, and given the fact that Freeman or Foreman are available options, I would include a Gumbawale in that not list. It's between Freeman and Foreman. Might give a slight edge to Foreman.
I think I'm giving a slight edge to Foreman. We've seen more Latavius Murray in past weeks.
Yeah, Freeman
in
scored
the past few weeks,
too,
so Freeman doesn't have quite the same floor or ceiling as we've seen in the past weeks. I would go with Foreman. He seems like the safest bet for touches, safest bet for work.
Like AJ Brown is back.
Then it'd be Ogunbowale for me, and then it'd be Freeman because, I mean, Latavius Murray being in there does muddy the waters for me.
It
because
muddies
it's
the
almost
waters.
An even split with Latavius and Freeman at this point. So for me, I'd go Foreman and then Ogunbowale.
Sure. But I would put, I agree. I would put Foreman first. It's not a good matchup by the numbers, but Tennessee at home running the ball, I feel okay about it. Miami, for what it's worth, and again, I really liked once Taysom Hill was put on the COVID list last week. Miami was like an obvious smash play against Ian Book. Miami is on a strong run, but this Titans offense is probably the best offense they are facing in this stretch of wins and games for them. So
yeah,
see
they've
them
been
come back to earth a little bit this week.
They've been more of a bend, not break offense. They haven't completely broken down.
No, they've been really good.
AJ Brown back in the fold.
It's a little dicier for them this week. So yeah, Foreman.
And Dirtbag, you got 06 and up, or
dang.
I have 07.
I had 07.
I have Madden 10.
I feel like 08 was my favorite.
08.
That was right before
they
started implementing the stuff with the quarterbacks. You had to you had to aim their eyes at the player you wanted to throw them to. I was like, this is dumb.
08 was, I think 09 was Favre. 08, I forget.
Is that Vince Young? You mean the cover?
No, Vince Young was 09. Favre was 08. Yep. And Madden 10 was that was the one with two people on it. That had Larry Fitz and
Polamalu. Yeah.
Yeah, and then 11 had Breeze.
I don't remember them all.
And then 12 had Peyton Hillis,
not me. Yeah. Was it 11? Dang. Okay.
Yeah, and then it wasn't there no 13. It went to 25.
Is that what it was?
Madden
I don't
25
remember.
with Barry Sanders.
I had a high. I'll admit, in that stretch, I had a bit of a hiatus from Madden. I don't know what I was doing.
Oh, that's when I was living with the guys, and when I first met you around that time was when
Yeah, Dirtbag 08. Vince Young was out. Yup, I loved that game. I don't know. It just felt like a video game. They didn't try to football it up as far as making it realistic.
That generation of Madden. Right after that, they switched it to like a whole nother format.
They made all these different changes and nobody liked them.
Yeah, that was the last year that it was like they had a stretch of like 6 years. It was pretty much the same, and they made incremental like updates. Like hit stick here and but that was the last one. That was the culmination of all of them. I like that one.
There you go.
I'm a Madden nerd. Get at me. I don't play the new ones. Damn, man. R.I.P. Madden. All right. Tim, if Eli is out, would you play Wilson in the flex or DK and keep McKenzie in the 3 wide receiver slot?
I would play Wilson over DK if Eli is out against Houston.
And I would keep as Isaiah McKenzie in the 3 wide receiver spot. Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Because, DK has a much lower floor, and in a game where you need to put up points, you kind of need a little bit of a floor. And I feel like Isaiah McKenzie you're playing the floor play and the ceiling play in case he gets another 12 targets. They're Josh Allen targets. And
obviously, here's the thing: if
somebody
Cole
was going to
Beasley...
pick up wide receiver 2 value in that offense, opposite Diggs, and it's clear it's Isaiah McKenzie.
I guess I would just caution let's keep an eye on the availability of Beasley and Gabe Davis.
Pending that new rule change, yes.
Yeah. If one or both of them are activated, then I would say McKenzie for championship week is a drop. But if not, then yeah, he stays in this conversation.
And yeah, Tim, I was thinking Henderson would get his spot back too, but clearly
I had a little bit of I had some caution.
Play.
Yeah, I had some caution about Sony myself this past weekend. For that very line of thinking, I was like, well, let's see how this backfield plays out as far as snap share and touches with Henderson 2 weeks removed from the COVID list. This was what I was saying last weekend. It didn't matter. Sony has taken control of this backfield. Henderson got hurt on the one play that he was able to get in on, which is a shame. Obviously, not something you ever want to see, regardless of whatever happens or whatever transpired with your team or the NFL or whatever. But I had the same pause about Sony going into the weekend. As someone who has Sony in multiple leagues, I had a little bit of pause for him, despite the good matchup. That turned out to be unfounded. Who knew? So, that's the name of the game, man. Like, you make decisions that look good at the time or look like it makes sense at the time. That's just fantasy, man.
Yeah.
It's just, we all do it. We've all been there. We all make moves where it's like, that was brilliant. We all make moves where it was like, I should not have done that.
And a lot of these moves from the ones you're describing are ones that just kept you alive. So
yeah.
Sometimes that's all you can ask for.
You're still here, right?
You're
still here.
Championship week. You know what I mean?
You're still here.
Yep. It might not be pretty. You might look back and say, I wish I would have made this move differently or that move differently. But if you win the ship,
still here.
If you win the ship, every move you made was the right move.
Then it
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everything.
Don't worry about it.
So it might all be worth it in the end. You never know.
Yes, sir.
Yo, I never played Superstar mode. I always played franchise mode, so I gotta check that out.
I liked playing Superstar mode. I messed around with I didn't play just quarterback. I think my best player I ever created was like a linebacker, which was fun. That was fun. But
right.
I don't remember the mansion. But I played Superstar mode. I played all. Yeah, I made a. There was a time where I made a right tackle.
Wow.
And I made his speed like 99, so he played on special teams too. It was pretty. It was pretty funny.
All right.
I jacked up his speed. He's like this 6'5", 300. No, I got drafted by the Chiefs. I remember that. I specifically remember my guy got drafted by the Chiefs. I was like super pumped. In my first game, I had like 12 pancakes, and I was like, "Why am I doing this?"
Yo, we're at the end of the chat, and I just want to pose a question to everybody. But now that we're at the end of the chat, and we'll get to your question in a second, Ryan, and any other questions that come up. But what is the best fantasy move you've ever made?
Ever?
If you go back, and everybody in the chat, throw it. Everybody
Dude,
in here, throw it in the chat. What is the fantasy move that you can be like, I made this move, and then I won the whole league? Or I drafted this guy, and he brought me to a championship, 6 years ago. Who's that guy? I picked up this dude off waivers.
Well, the last time I won our home keeper league, I picked up Tim Hightower ahead of week 16, and he had a 30-burger for me.
Yeah.
That was a good one. The best ever. I mean, I don't know. There's still there's still dynasty moves in the works that are materializing.
We've been playing for 10 years. I didn't know if you had any that stuck out to you. And Ryan, if Jordan Howard is out, I do like Boston Scott over Michael Carter.
Boston Scott.
If Jordan Howard is in,
do you still like Boston Scott? I'm worried about Michael Carter this week because they're playing the Bucs.
Yeah.
The Bucs their secondary is decimated. Their front seven is gnarly.
Well, the Jets just might get down and abandon the run. Just what I
Carter could, well, to that point, Carter could pick up some dump offs.
Right, but Boston Scott's going to pick up dump offs and get run, regardless of
In a better
whether or not Jordan
matchup.
Howard is in or out, and he's also a threat to catch a touchdown or get a touchdown like he did last week.
Man, Carter had a good game last week. 6 for 118. It was against Jacksonville, but 6 for 16 for 118. He caught 2 passes for 6 yards. That might be where he does a little bit more damage this week against the. He's not getting 118 rushing yards against the Bucs. I'll plant my flag on that right now. But he might see a little bit more work in the passing game.
I mean, last week it was no Elijah Moore, no Jamison Crowder. It was Braxton Berrios and no one else.
Yeah.
I mean, in a game where Zach Wilson was literally running around everywhere.
Zach Wilson.
I would go Boston Scott. Regardless.
Yeah, Carter gives me pause. In a tough matchup, although he has performed in some tough matchups this year before. Week 10 against the Bills, 16 for 39. Not great, but he scored a touchdown, and he caught 4 passes for 43 yards. See, that's where he can maybe do some damage. Despite the bad matchup, let him catch the ball out of the backfield. That being said, I think I have to play the better matchup this week, and that would be Boston Scott.
Yeah.
Dirtbag, the trade this year for and you traded Jacobs for Fournette. That friggin' worked out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That worked out. I know he's hurt now, but he got you to where you. I know Fournette got you to where you. Fournette was a huge reason why you're in the semifinals now. Picking up Cordell Patterson this year was a monster move. There's no doubt about that. Dang, Ryan traded a first and Russell Gage for Debo.
Ooh,
that's beautiful.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Love that. People were down on Debo this year coming into the season. The whole mantra was, well, he can't make it through a season healthy, and he's missed 1 game this year. But he proved his rookie year he can play, and his second year made people forget about that. I didn't. Myself included, I was not as high on Debo this year as I wish I would have been, because I was so high on him his rookie year. I fell into the narrative a little bit, and that was wrong. Debo's awesome, and that's an amazing trade. Like, Russell Gage has had a few nice weeks. Debo is a top 5 option.
And yo, Dirtbag, we'll check that out. That's fun. Y'all do a video of your draft party.
There you go.
That's cool.
Drink out of it. Do all that stuff.
Go splash in a fountain with it like Ovi.
There you go.
Hey.
Take it on a boat.
E111, what's going on, man? Just playing chess while I enjoy listening to your show. Hey, thanks for listening. We hope you win your chess matchup. Sorry about your fantasy luck.
We'll get you in the championship game next year. That's the plan.
Well, I got 2 things that come to mind when I think about old fantasy moves that saved the day.
I think I know one.
I traded Vernon Davis and Jackie Battle to a friend of ours for
Jackie
Gronk
Battle
right before Gronk turned into Hall of Fame Gronk, and it was
Vernon Davis
right?
Wasn't it
had a few decent weeks, and Jackie Battle had 1 week for the Tennessee Titans. He was a backup running back for the Tennessee Titans. He had 1 week, and my friend tilted hard and traded me. And it was when Aaron Hernandez was still on the team and doing well.
Still on the Patriots.
So he didn't think that Gronk was going to be all that. And then Gronk just turned into a Hall of Fame tight end right before my eyes, and I won the shit. It was great. But cool. Another just pickup for me that won me a league was identifying Victor Cruz. I picked up Victor Cruz, and he ended up being my wide receiver 3, and I won that year in that league as well.
There you go.
Let's hope I have another one of those moves this year. I made a few moves to get me into the championships, but we'll see if it gets me all the way. We'll see.
There you go. See what happens. Fun to reflect on the good moves you've made.
Hey, Montario Hardesty, bro.
I don't even remember what. I can't even tell you if he actually contributed to my. Or
If
he was just
anybody
like a
knows that name
stash.
out there in this chat, Montario
I had him
Hardesty
on.
for the
I had him on a
Browns.
team or two.
You
Yeah, he
remember
was a
that
Browns
guy?
wide. He was a Browns wide receiver.
No, he was a running
quarterback
back. He was a running back.
I thought he was a wide receiver. Whatever.
He's a running back.
Quarterback was probably like Luke McCown or some crap. I don't even know how many. There's just too many Browns quarterbacks to remember over the past 10 years, 5 years, 2 years. However much time you want to go back.
Hey.
But yeah. You drafted Luka and said Luka. We're not talking Luka Doncic. Who's Luka? I'm not sure. E11.
move you
Yeah,
can
we've
remember?
all been there, staying up till 3 a.m. being like, what do I do?
Predicting Amendola would have a good game. Hey, that's
There
a
you go.
snipe. Yeah.
If a win is a win.
What
there you
team
go.
was he playing on at the time? Was this Patriots Amendola? Was this Rams Amendola? Was this Lions Amendola?
He did have a couple
Was
games
this
with
Jets Amendola? Like,
Was he on the Jets?
I think he was on the Jets. Wasn't he on the Jets?
Was that this year? I don't remember. Danny A. Don't remember.
Chuck Mann, you played Tom Brady in the snow, 305 TDs.
There you go.
All right.
Was that the game? That was against the Titans. That was the 08 season, I think.
I don't remember.
I think that was their
that was
undefeated
before I was
regular
really watching
season.
football, so
I think that was against the Titans. Wasn't it like 45-7? I don't know why I remember this. I didn't have Brady that year, but I just remember they boat raced. I think it was Tennessee at home. I think it was that, and they crushed. Or maybe it wasn't the 08 season. Either way, it was a snow game, and the Patriots boat raced them. Like a 45-7 type of game, I think is what it was, if I'm remembering correctly. And if I am, I don't know why. I didn't have Brady. I don't think I had a Patriots player in that game. I just remember that game. I was like, well, the Tennessee Titans, they maybe tried today. But yeah, huge game for Brady in that one. And Amendola was with the Patriots when he went off.
Oh man, yo, I'm going back through the history of Yahoo, our leagues.
You're going down memory lane
I'm looking
right
at
now.
your championship team from 2012. Josh Freeman, Superflex. You got Josh Freeman on your final day roster.
Hey,
remember him?
he gets a ring.
I
He
just
was on
forgot
Tampa.
about him, bro. You had Nate Washington.
Yeah, he was a decent player. He was.
Eric Decker. Remember?
Decker was awesome
dope
that
for
year.
A few years, yeah.
That was what Decker was awesome that year. Yeah, like 10 touchdowns that year, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Derby, you meant Ayuk. Oh, got it. Whatever. People liked Ayuk this year. It is what it is. He had some weeks.
Decent.
It's okay. We are at the end of the chat. So I know you're going down memory lane over there, but I guess
I am, man. And now I'm looking at your championship team from what is it, 2015?
Why are you doing this?
Because, man, it's fun. All right, shut up.
We had switched to one.
Jeremy
quarterback by
Maclin,
that point.
Ted
Yeah,
Ginn. Ted Ginn on the Saints, I think.
I had Ted Ginn every year. Marcus Colston, I had him every year.
This was the Devonta Freeman year. Yes.
That was the year Freeman was the RB1.
D'Angelo Williams, you had him at RB2 when he popped off after Le'Veon Bell.
I traded for him.
Yeah.
I traded for him.
And this was the Tim Hightower year. I see it.
Tim Hightower.
Look at Eddie Lacy on your bench with Odell Beckham Jr. on your bench. Look at that.
Odell was suspended for that game because he threw a punch at Josh Norman's head. The week before.
Oh, man.
Threw a punch at Josh Norman.
Memory lane is fun. I don't care.
Good time. Not everybody here cares about that, though.
No.
Dirtbag
Ayuk, or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Right. Ayuk had some weeks, but obviously was a little disappointment relative to ADP this year. So something to.
Yeah, Debo came back.
Ayuk's ADP might be decent value next year, but that's a conversation for next year. like I said, we're at the end of this chat. And I
Packing it
don't
in.
know that everybody cares about going down memory lane of our old teams.
Oh,
So
no, I just like mentioning some old players. That's what's fun for me.
rattle the like I said, memory lane.
Yeah.
But I think that about does it for tonight, you guys. Hopefully some of the advice helped. Love seeing everybody all these people that are in the championship game for their league. That's
yeah, man. It
that's
feels
what
like
we play for.
It feels like we're winning a little bit when you guys win. So, yeah, let's hope we all come away with dubs this weekend.
That's the plan.
Yeah, stay tuned on Saturday. If we had any questions that we in the chat that we said we want to come back to, Richie's, I believe, or Tim's, one of them.
Yeah, Tim had questions. We will definitely let's revisit on Saturday. And Dirtbag, that's the kind of answers your question. We go live again on Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, for start sit help. We'll also be live 10 a.m. Eastern on Sunday ahead of the slate. And it's a full slate this time because there's no Thursday or Saturday, from what I've been able to see. So 6 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, Sunday. We'll be here for start sit help.
And yo, he won 1-1. That's dope.
Yo, I love it.
That's dope. That's funny. That's awesome. Good times, man. Memory lane. Hey.
Yeah, man.
And yeah,
Sometimes
you gotta
it's
wait to
fun
see what
reminisce.
happens after waivers, Dirtbag. I see you. Yeah. Yeah. This will be an interesting week for waivers. Yeah.
05 was a good one for Madden.
Yo,
Who
you
was
know what
on
I found out in that game?
Was that when McNabb
Again,
was on it?
Getting in the weeds, but
Yeah.
if you never drafted left or defensive ends, left or right defensive end, just draft a bunch of middle linebackers and left and right linebackers, and then change them because you could turn like a 70 ranked any kind of linebacker and do like a high 80s, low 90s defensive end. Like that, like as soon as you switch the position. So that was the hack for me. That
was your move
in the franchise mode. Never drafted left and right ends, defensive ends, or defensive tackles. Just draft a whole bunch of athletic linebackers late and switch.
Put them everywhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, sir. But all right, you guys. We are gonna call it quits. Thank you guys. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you for sticking with us this long. And while we ramble about old fantasy leagues and old players in Madden, thanks for the supers, Hardesty. Austin and Chuckman, and yeah, I hope everybody wins this week. Yeah, appreciate the questions. Appreciate your time. We'll be back Saturday. Ahead of these finals matchups. If anybody needs any start sit help, obviously by then we'll have gotten through the week of practice and the practice reports, so some things will be in focus by then. But yeah, like John said, thanks everybody. Have a good night. And enjoy this week. If you're in the finals, just savor it. Soak that in. This is your time to kind of bask in it. But yeah. You too, E11. Yeah, everybody have a good one, and we'll see y'all Saturday. Peace, guys.